right, good morning. Welcome to Good Day LA. It's 8 o'clock on this Thursday. I'm Jen Lammers.
Thanks for sticking with us. I'm Bobby Castro. And here's a look at some of the stories we're covering this morning. The FBI warning Iran could launch a surprise drone attack against targets in California. We've got Mario live in Hollywood, where security has already been beefed up for this weekend's Oscars.
And 2 men injured when car thieves target a body shop in Sun Valley. We'll have a live report there.
Also, we're talking about this heat wave. It begins today. We could be setting record-breaking temps. Maria's here with more on this heat dome.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yesterday we started feeling a little bit of that heat, right? We were above normal again by a few degrees, but today we're really going to jump up well above average, some 10, 20 degrees above, and then even 30 degrees above normal for some areas. And as we take a look at the latest on our satellite radar pictures, you can tell that there is this big dome of high pressure by how clear it is across the west. And it's not just here in Southern California, but all the way up the coast into Northern California as well. And it's going to be here for a while. So we want you to stay heat safe as we move into these next several days. 66 degrees currently in downtown LA, 62 in Ontario. Santa Ana is 59, so it's not bad. Now's the time if you want to get that exercise or that run into your day. You really want to do before the peak of the heat of the day today. 28 degrees currently in Big Bear, and eventually this afternoon it will get to those upper 60s, nearing 70 in Big Bear up to the mountains, 82 in the high desert, 95 out there in the Coachella Valley in Palm Springs. Downtown LA, 93 degrees. Now, mind you, the average for the day to 70, so we are well north of that. Mid, perhaps upper 90s for the valleys and the Inland Empire to around 84 along the coast. We could be tying, even breaking some records over the next several days. I'll go over the rest of the advisories that you can expect coming up in just a few moments. But first, let's check in on the drive. It's no doubt a little bit busier out there now. Stu's overhead in Skyfox with a look at our traffic. Hey, Stu.
Hey, Maria, good morning. Yeah, taking a look at that 405 drive, we actually made our way to Brentwood. What we're showing you there, that's that super slow and go as you're making your way over the hill this morning. It actually is moving in this portion, but we all know it's a slow ride, as we'd like to say, as you take that Sepulveda Pass southbound. Northbound lanes definitely doing a lot better coming out of the West LA area, heading out towards the 101. Better spacing, higher speeds. It looks like a great drive. Southbound, just give yourself a little extra time this morning. We've seen it worse, but we've also seen it better. Sending it back to you all in the studio. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning, Stu.
Good morning.
Have a great day. A man is brutally beaten after trying to stop robbers from stealing cars from a shop.
Yeah, Gigi Gracietta standing by in Sun Valley with more on this. Good morning.
That's right, and we're learning that this may have been a private car purchase, that someone may have made an appointment to come and purchase a car, and what ended up happening is that 10 to 12 suspects showed up and pistol whipped a man. We're awaiting a call from a detective to learn a little bit more as they continue to work this case, but take a look at the video. There is the victim, police finding him bleeding from the head. This all happened just before 10:30 last night with a frantic 911 call reporting that, again, anywhere from 10 to a dozen suspects were attacking 2 men inside a property here on Lancashire near the 5 freeway in Sun Valley. Police say the group pistol whipped that one victim and beat up the other one, leaving behind such a chaotic scene that the injured men couldn't even tell police if the attackers were still inside. Officers moved in to clear the building, but first had to remove 2 guard dogs that were roaming the property. Once inside, they found the suspects were gone, and they had taken off with 2 cars they stole, a Genesis, that's Hyundai's luxury line, and a white BMW. Now, detectives, again, don't believe this was random. They think the victims were targeted, and again, this may have started as a private car purchase that obviously went horribly wrong. Again, we are awaiting an update from the LAPD. Reporting live here in Sun Valley, I'm Gigi Graciette. Back to you.
Gigi, thank you. On day 13 now of the war with Iran, the country's new supreme leader has made his first public statements. Ayatollah Moshtaba Khamenei did not appear on camera, but he did release some messages on state television. He said attacks on Arab neighbors will continue, and Iran should continue using leverage provided by closing the Strait of Hormuz. He also warned all U.S. bases in the region should be closed immediately or continue to be targeted.
Could the war come to our shores? The FBI has now warned police about the possibility of Iranian drone attacks right here in California.
We have Mario live in Hollywood now, where they're setting up for the Oscars ceremony. He has more on the alleged threat and what local experts are saying about it. Mario.
That's right, Jen. Bob, this ongoing conflict half a world away, raising security concerns here at home. Major events like this weekend's Academy Awards already drawing global attention here to the city. You can see part of the setup behind me along Hollywood Boulevard. The Oscars always comes with heavy security, but this year, law enforcement paying even closer attention after a federal warning about a possible Iranian drone attack. So here's what we know as local law enforcement agencies say they are on heightened alert. Federal authorities monitoring a possible threat that could involve drone technology here in California. An FBI alert reportedly sent to law enforcement agencies said Iranian-affiliated actors had discussed the possibility of a surprise drone attack targeting the state, indicating those drones could potentially be launched from a ship positioned off the West Coast if the U.S. carried out military strikes against Iran. Officials say the information doesn't include details about timing, targets, or how an attack could actually be carried out. And while there's no confirmed threat, analysts say even the possibility of drone attacks is something officials have to prepare for.
This specific threat assessment, I think, is something that is very well could also be part of a ploy by the regime to sow fear and anxiety and to continue to raise the pressure on this administration to stop the fighting and to negotiate on Iranian terms. I still do not feel that the threat that is being presented is one that is imminent at the moment. I think it's good to know that if there's anything unusual flying overhead, we should all be cautious and aware.
Again, here in Hollywood, security around the Oscars will be extensive throughout the weekend. The security perimeter covering about a mile around the Dolby Theater as crews continue preparing for Sunday night's global broadcast. And officials say every vehicle entering the area will be screened by bomb squads and explosive detection dogs. For now, officials say they're continuing to monitor the situation, and the law enforcement agencies that we're hearing from say they're taking a proactive approach. We've also reached out to the local FBI office for further information and have yet to receive a comment. For now, live here in Hollywood. We'll send it back to you in the studio.
More on that. All right. Thank you, Mario. So meantime, gas prices continue to rise because of the war in Iran.
And there's no sign of that trend reversing. Taking a look at some of the averages in our area. In Long Beach and in Los Angeles, we're seeing $5.40 per gallon. Orange County, $5.37. Riverside and San Bernardino, there in the IE, $5.29. And in Ventura, $5.35.
So here's a look at a few of the less expensive spots to fill up in SoCal right now, even though these prices are still pretty high. According to GasBuddy.com, you'll find $4.24 a gallon at the 7-Eleven on San Gabriel Boulevard in Rosemead, $4.29 at the Arco on North Tustin and Orange, $4.49 at the Chevron on East Gladstone and Azusa, also $4.49 at the Shell station on East La Palma, in Anaheim.
Happening today, jury instructions and closing arguments will begin in a social media trial. The defense rested its case yesterday. A 20-year-old, only going by the name KGM, is suing Meta and Google for allegedly being harmful to her mental health growing up. Her attorney says she's been on social media since she was 6 years old, making YouTube videos and posting content. KGM says she was online nonstop on apps like Instagram that exposed her to harmful and depressing content and led to self-harm and sextortion.
8:08 this morning, still ahead with the ongoing war in Iran. Their team will not participate in the FIFA World Cup. What this means for the tournament here in Los Angeles.
Also, LeBron James surprising patients at UCLA Health Medical Center. Wait to see their reactions. Stu.
And this Sky Fox traffic brought to us by My Home Sold. Oh, look at all those cars, totally for sure. That's going to be the 101. Encino is where we are. And I got to tell you, it is very slow and go. This Thursday, everybody's trying to get out there, probably because we know that big heat wave's coming. Get it done soon, get it done early. But, oh, what's it doing to the ride? It is really blocking it up. Now, it said this is the Encino area, left side of the screen. That's going to be the southbound lane, making your way over to the 405. But I can tell you, it looks like that all the way from Tarzana out towards the 405, and you can see the southbound lanes really slow and go. It's almost mirrored in the Studio City area. That 101 through the valley, give yourself extra time. Other traffic hotspots, we got those as well. Going to show those to you right now.
I'm Adrian Hernandez with MyHomeSold.com, and we want to buy your house cash. We'll give you a cash offer for your house today. Sell your house the easy way with no commissions, no fees, no repairs. For free, no obligation cash offer. Go to MyHomeSold.com.
Our top stories this morning, a driver was hurt when that person's car smashed through a window at a 7-Eleven. This all happened just before 9 o'clock last night on the 1400 block of South La Cienega and Pico Robertson. Nobody else was hurt. The driver's condition is unknown and no word on what caused the crash.
Authorities in Paramount hope someone can help them find two men caught on camera allegedly trying to set a fire to a business last month. The two suspects broke the window of a shop on Alondra Boulevard. This happened on February the 24th. Authorities say they then poured a flammable liquid inside and set it on fire. It was the third arson attack on the unidentified business.
And Kanye West has been ordered to pay $140,000 to a handyman who claimed he was stiffed out of payments. A jury decided in favor of plaintiff Tony Saxon in the civil trial. Saxon testified that West agreed to pay him $20,000 weekly to oversee renovations at his Malibu mansion back in 2021, but only paid a fraction of the amount that was due. Saxon also alleged unsafe working conditions.
8:14 is your time. The war with Iran now affecting the upcoming World Cup, less than 100 days away.
That's right. Roxia has that story for us. Good morning.
Good morning. The World Cup will be played in the U.S., Canada, and Mexico, but Iran has decided not to compete, according to Iranian state TV yesterday. Iran was scheduled to play in Los Angeles and Seattle in June. President Trump has said that the Iranian team is welcome to come to the United States. However, yesterday, Iran's sports minister said it is not possible for the team to take part, saying, quote, "Our players do not have security, and fundamentally the conditions for participation do not exist." The announcement does not come as a surprise to many.
No, I'm not surprised at all. This is what happens when sport and geopolitical conflict collides. We're seeing where athletes right now are being forced to choose between the sport that they love and ultimately what is happening in their home country.
FIFA's rules around what country would replace Iran are vague, and no decision has yet been made. According to the LA Times, Iraq and UAE could take Iran's spot, but both teams would face travel concerns due to the war in the Middle East. Another candidate could also be perhaps Italy. And as you heard the speaker just a moment ago, geopolitics can often get in the way of sports. Earlier this week, 6 members of Iran's delegation to the Women's Asian Cup were granted humanitarian visas and allowed to remain in Australia rather than return to Iran, where they feared persecution for not singing the national anthem during the tournament. The other players did go back because they were afraid that some harm would be done to their families. So just imagine being in the position like that, right? To make a decision where you want a future for yourself, you want your safety, but you know, if you make the wrong choice, it could harm the people that you love.
And you've worked your whole life to get to this moment on the world stage, and then you're caught between that and what's happening at home.
And they just want freedom, right?
Yeah.
They want freedom, and yeah, making a really difficult choice. But you feel for the people who made that difficult choice also to go home, you know, knowing that their families could be hurt.
In fact, I'm thinking about the ones that chose not to, and you know what the circumstances are in that case, because
tough choices.
That is just. I mean, there's no winning really in that moment.
Well, hopefully we get an update on them. All right, Araxia, thank you.
Thank you.
Lakers superstar LeBron James surprised patients at UCLA Health Medical Center. He walked in with gifts and spent quality time with patients facing difficult recoveries. I mean, that was a gift in and of itself, I think, the surprise, right? It happened earlier this week.
Oh, he got that onesie. Did you see that?
Yeah.
He personally delivered blankets to several wings at the hospital. He took pictures with the patients. Many of them were just moved to tears.
Really sweet.
Yeah.
Put a smile on their faces.
It is sweet. You know, you're kind of depressed when you're in the hospital, right? You're trying to recover, and then in comes like maybe your idol or one of your favorite players. So that's a good boost. Good for them. Good for the Lakers. All right, let's talk about this, because right now it is starting to heat up. This is in Pasadena right now, and you can see they're not moving too fast here, but they're moving, which is good. Now is the time. Like I said, if you need to get that exercise in, you want to go for a run or for a walk, this is the time to do it, because once it really starts heating up, the peak of the day between really 10 o'clock this morning till around 4 or 5 this afternoon, that's really when it's going to be the hottest and the most uncomfortable to be doing anything strenuous outside. So you want to do it early, right? It's already warmer than yesterday by a lot in Oxnard, 12 degrees warmer at this hour than it was yesterday. Look at the island of Avalon, almost 20 degrees warmer right now than yesterday. So +8 in Ontario, +9 in San Bernardino. This is the kind of day we're looking at, not just today, but tomorrow into even next week. We've got this big dome of high pressure that's in control. We've got a clockwise flow of air around this area of high pressure, giving us that offshore flow. Nothing too strong. However, it will get breezy, especially below the canyons and passes, but it should stay below advisory criteria. The story will really be the heat. So very hot temperatures, likely breaking or tying some records. And this is dangerous heat, because it's going to be a prolonged time period of high heat, high temperatures in the afternoon. And, you know, it's hard to believe, but many people do not have air conditioning, especially if you live near the coast. So you really want to seek alternative plans to maybe get to the library, go to the shopping mall, go to friends' homes that have air conditioning. You really want to stay heat safe over the next several days, because this high is going to get reinforced by another one by next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. even hotter temperatures potentially as we get into next week. There's that flow. Current winds coming out of the northeast, but it's really very calm, 3 to 5 miles per hour. So that's a good thing. But heat advisories are in effect widespread, as you can see across SoCal here, with temperatures potentially causing heat-related illnesses, and that's why that heat advisory is in effect. 93 for downtown LA today. That is well above the average of 70. As we look at our day planner for Riverside here, getting up to 91 later this afternoon, and Anaheim, lots of sunshine. If you're headed to Disneyland, perhaps, please drink a lot of water. Make sure you remind the kids, dress appropriately with the hat. Light-colored, loose-fitting clothing will keep you nice and more comfortable. Thousand Oaks getting to the upper 80s later this afternoon with lots of sunshine. And one more, Big Bear up into the mountains as well, getting up into the upper 60s a little bit later. All right, when I come back, I'll show you the extended outlook. But first, let's check in on traffic. We've got Samada back in studio with a look at our freeways. Hey, Samada.
Good morning, Maria. Good morning, everyone. And yes, a reminder with the heat, as Maria and I have been chatting about, you want to make sure your vehicle is in tip-top condition, that the air conditioning unit in, again, your car is in full working order. We do have a couple issues to address at this hour. Heads up, your drive through Culver City going to be pretty difficult. Southbound side of the 405 at Grand Avenue, we do have a collision there taking away a lane of traffic. So it has you slow all the way backed up to the 10. So keep that in mind. Give yourself extra time. And if this is part of your route, we're going to take you now out to Riverside, westbound 91 at 14th Street. Currently taking away 2 right lanes, and the backup does continue to add up through that stretch. We do have tow trucks en route there. Real-time traffic breaking it down for you. 53 minutes your ride from downtown to get to Santa Monica. 39 minutes as you pull away from the northbound 110 from the 405 inbound. And a live Caltrans camera. This look at Orange, 22 at City Drive. Both directions actually moving along pretty nice at this hour. And stick with us. We will be right back.
Universal is revealing new details about its upcoming Universal Kids Resort. I think Ethan would like this.
Oh, yeah.
This is going to open next year in Frisco, Texas.
Well,
listen, it's a family-focused park. It'll feature 3 DreamWorks-themed lands, including Trolls Fest, Shrek Swamp, and Jurassic World Adventure Camp. So if visitors can expect rides, interactive play areas, character meet and greets, even a Trolls makeover experience.
Wow.
You, too, can become a troll, like a real one. The park,
not the ones that live online?
Right.
No.
The park will also, can also include lands inspired by SpongeBob SquarePants.
Wow.
And the Minions. They will also have a 300-room on-site hotel.
Okay, fine. Sold. The California Wine Festival kicks off its 2026 season in Dana Point.
Okay, fine. Sold.
On April 24th and 25th, we are going. This 2-day event features oceanfront wine tastings, gourmet bites, and live music at Laguna Cliffs Marriott Resort and Spa and Sea Terrace Park. Highlights include a rare wine tasting Friday evening and a lively beachside festival on Saturday afternoon. Tickets include unlimited samples and a keepsake glass.
Oh.
Yeah, prices range from $85, and they go up to $239. Visit CaliforniaWineFestival.com for all the details.
Even at $239, I could probably get my money's worth.
Yeah, yeah.
If it's unlimited.
It's true.
Move over, burritos and nachos. Taco Bell is apparently getting into skincare. So it's at its Live Moss event this weekend. Live Moss Live event. The chain unveiled more than 20 new items for 2026, including Mountain Dew Baja Blast under eye patches. You said you like that Baja Blast.
I do.
The company says the citrus and caffeine-infused patches are meant to energize and hydrate that tired skin. No word yet on when the patches will hit the menu. If you'd rather eat than exfoliate, Taco Bell teased a number of unique food items, including the Cheesy G Sliders, the Cantina Mexican Pizza.
Ooh, yum, yum. Okay, so Coco is at Crenshaw High School for a special event this morning.
Good morning. A special event indeed here at Crenshaw High School featuring the men of Morehouse. We are talking about an event called Morehouse Takes LA. We'll tell you more about it and introduce you to these wonderful men coming up.
8:30 this morning on this Thursday.
Your favorite day.
I woke up this morning, I thought, it already feels a little warmer.
Did you? Did you have the AC on?
I did.
I have resisted.
I turned it on for the first time when we had the first heat wave not too long ago.
That's right. I have resisted. So I do have some important information here I want to tell you guys, and I want to ask you this question about, do you know the difference between heat exhaustion and heat stroke?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Heat stroke.
Let me call up Dr. J Bear. Right? He would know the difference.
Don't you stop sweating?
That's one sign. That's exactly right. Yeah. There's no sweating when someone is experiencing heat stroke. So these are the heat dangers that I wanted to go over, because
I'm very tired this
week. Could save yourself, or you could save someone else, right? So no sweating is a sign, you're absolutely right, Bob, of a heat stroke. Throbbing headache, whereas heat exhaustion, you are sweating profusely. There's red hot dry skin with heat stroke, whereas you're more cool and pale, clammy, right, with the heat exhaustion. Bottom line is, when you see these symptoms with the heat stroke, you want to call 911. This is when you want emergency, because you can definitely, this can be fatal. Heat exhaustion, you really want to prevent that today. You want to drink a lot of water, drink liquids, make sure you dress appropriately, remind the kids, check on the elderly, make sure you take care of your pets as well. But yeah, muscle cramping is also a good sign of heat exhaustion. You want to get in some air conditioning for sure. But on the other side, that red area, you want to call 911. So today, to prevent all of that, get in, like I said, to a mall, get into a library where there's nice AC. You want to definitely take breaks from the sun. If you have to work and be outside, you want to definitely take those numerous breaks. And please stay heat safe. We consider heat as the silent killer, and it is the leading cause of death related to weather. It is not hurricanes, not tornadoes, it is heat. So please keep that in mind as you plan your days ahead. 93 is what we're expecting for downtown LA today. That is well above the average of 70. Look at all the 90s today. 95 in Woodland Hills. We could be breaking some records. 95 in Palm Springs to that 68 in Big Bear. 90 degrees in Santa Ana. 91 in Long Beach. And this will continue into next week with temperatures really staying above average. Looking at the Weather Prediction Center, this is through the 22nd of March. We're going to be well above average through the southwest, not just Southern California here. So no sign of real relief as high pressure continues to dominate our weather. You can see how high pressure just gets reinforced as we get into the better part of next week. All right, let's check in on traffic. Hopefully you have air conditioning in your car when you consider the heat, right, Samada?
Absolutely. Make sure it's in full working order. And can't stress it enough, do not ever leave children or pets inside vehicles. And back to the roadways here, we do have this brand new issue, a car fire northbound side of 57 at Chapman Avenue. It is taking away a lane of traffic, and tow trucks en route there, and a multiple vehicle crash here in Riverside, westbound 91. Right there at 14th Street. You can see a little bit of that delay, and it does continue to add up behind that incident. We have multiple tow trucks. We're getting word again for up to 4 to 6 vehicles involved in that collision. Here's a live Caltrans camera. This is going to be the 405 at La Tierra going northbound. Always a struggle, very typical southbound side as you're moving along, headed towards LAX. Looks good. Back to you, too.
All right, Samada, thank you. So President Trump says Iran is being absolutely decimated as U.S. attacks continue to target the Iranian military.
Plans are going into action to keep oil flowing and prices stable as the Iranian regime uses key shipping routes for leverage. Fuel tankers went up in flames near a port in southern Iraq last night after a suspected Iranian attack in the Persian Gulf. The same is happening to some boats crossing the Strait of Hormuz, disrupting 20% of the globe's oil supply. 3 members aboard a cargo vessel from Thailand are still missing this morning after Iran claimed responsibility for the attack. Secretary of Energy Chris Wright says the U.S. will release 172 million barrels of oil from its strategic petroleum reserve. This is part of a larger effort from the International Energy Agency, which will make 400 million barrels of emergency oil available. 32 countries across the world taking part in that. As we near week 2 of this war, we're actually learning new details about the first 24 hours of this conflict.
We know now that dozens of U.S. service members were injured in Kuwait during an Iranian drone attack that killed 7. In fact, several were seriously hurt and are now dealing with injuries like brain trauma and burns. And the Pentagon says at least 140 U.S. service members have been injured so far. We're also learning the New York Times is reporting the U.S. is responsible for the deadly Tomahawk missile strike on an Iranian elementary school that killed more than 150 civilians, many of them children. The Pentagon says it's an ongoing military investigation that will take months. The Times is sourcing several people close to the investigation who are now being blaming outdated target intel for the deadly mistake. If the U.S. role in the attack is confirmed, it would rank among the military's most deadly incidents involving civilians in decades.
The headlines have been nonstop between the war in Iran, other turmoil happening in recent years. It can be hard to catch a break with all this news.
Let's bring in Brooke. She has some expert tips now on how we can cope.
Yeah, you know, I've been saying it just doesn't seem normal, right, to be inundated with just tragedy. But that's where we are, right? That's life right now. And I talked to a psychotherapist this morning about how we can stay informed and honestly sane. Angela Mull is a psychotherapist and owner of Creating Beautiful Minds Family Therapy. She says it's important to pay attention to yourself and pay attention to how certain news makes you feel. Create limits on when and how long you might read something, for instance, but you do not have to block everything out. And when it comes to your children, should you shield them from certain news? Well, Angela says no. She says focus on age-appropriate conversations, but have the talk. And most important in that is to check in with yourself first.
For parents or adults, really check in with yourself first. Make sure that you're grounded before having these conversations, if necessary. Again, asking yourself those questions. Is it necessary that I need to inform the children about these things? Because, yeah, they will hear it at school. Sometimes they have their phones that they have information. So you do want to have the conversations. You don't want to avoid the conversations, but really meeting them at their level. What do they need to know about this situation?
Yeah, so there it is. Stay informed, but check in with yourself and your body, and the same goes for your children. You know, I keep pointing out that we're having a conversation about people who don't want to turn the TV off. They don't want to turn the TV off. They don't want to stop reading the news. There are many, many people who want to be informed. They want to know what's going on around them about everything. And so you have to figure out how to manage that.
Yeah.
And the algorithm, too, on social media, it's like you look up one thing and you see these images, and then they just feed you even more horrifying, videos that are coming out. So it expounds upon itself.
It's just like being smart about it, right? So even if you're online, okay, I'm going to get my news from this organization.
Right.
And I'm not going to read 10 things. I'm going to read them. I'm going to read this. I'm going to watch this. And I think you can stay informed and not go down the rabbit hole.
Right. Very cool.
Also, my tip is get your news from the news.
That's right.
Because listen,
it
is
dangerous too. There's a lot of AI imagery too that you have to be careful for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
The FDA is recalling clams and raw oysters over norovirus contamination concerns in 9 states, including California. This recall affects Manila clams harvested by Lumi Indian Business Council. The oysters were harvested by the Drayton Harbor Oyster Company. Both are based in Washington State. Norovirus, often called the stomach flu, can cause severe illnesses. The FDA urges consumers not to eat these products and for businesses to dispose of them properly.
All right, 8:38 this morning, and several Morehouse College students from Los Angeles are returning home to speak at assemblies at Jordan and Crenshaw high schools.
Paying it forward. Here's Coco live in Crenshaw with more on how organizers hope to inspire this next generation. Coco.
Hey there, this is such an important event, and I'm so happy to be covering it. This is called Morehouse Takes LA, and it's really about mentorship and community as well. To tell us more about it, I am here with the Morehouse men. I'm going to start with Marvion, so tell us more about this event.
Yeah, so the Morehouse Takes LA event is here to empower the youth here, both in Crenshaw and in Watts. We will be engaging with students from all over LAUSD. They'll be coming right to this school, 300 of them. We're really about empowering the youth, the students. This is not a recruitment tour for Morehouse, but if they want to come to Morehouse, they're more than welcome. But our goal and our mission is to let the students in the community know that you have the opportunity to grow, you have the opportunity to go out and see the world. I'm from Watts, and Watts stands for We Are Taught to Survive. And we want to change that narrative, not even just in Watts, but everywhere, to success. And success looking like going to college. It looks like going to trade school. It looks like telling the world that because where I come from, you can't tell me I can't be anything else. So that's what we're here today. We're here to empower the youth, empower the communities, and push the agenda forward of going out and being great leaders.
What a powerful message, and we want to continue that power here with Aaron. So, Aaron, tell us about why it's important for you to be part of this.
For me, it's very important. It means the world. You know, I was once one of the students sitting in these seats, and then now next year I'm able to come to California, and actually this is my first time coming to California last year. I was able to lead the program and whatnot, and so now I'm also the leader of everything. So I'm taking in charge to Marvion and everything. And this experience just means the world. You know, it just shows that your journey does not define your final destination. And where you start does not define your final destination.
Yes, Johnny, same question for you.
Yeah, so I think being a leader now and two years in leadership, especially serving over get on the bus, when Marvion came with the idea to get on the plane, it blew my mind because that's our goal. Our president, Dr. F. Du Bois Bowman, told us that he's building principal leaders, steadfast, honest, true. So we're here in LA to build those same principal leaders that will lead the world of tomorrow.
And Demarion, what does it mean to you?
Our former president, Dr. Benjamin Elijah Mays, told us that there's a crown above our heads, and we as men of Morehouse have to grow tall enough to wear it. We being here in Crenshaw are putting this proverbial crown over those students so they can know that their character does not have to be defined by their circumstances. They can rise above enough to do so and to change the world.
Chaz, what does it mean to you?
Definitely. As an Adams Scholar, this program means so much to me. Being able to come back into the communities that have built us up into who we are today, share them the values of HBCUs, it means so much, and it's definitely a full circle moment for me.
Donald, what does it mean to you?
It means absolutely everything. To be a student who was here last year in the same exact seats at Jordan High School, to receive the message that Morehouse gave out, and to feel that sense of purpose and belongingness to keep moving forward was amazing.
And Robert, as a Crenshaw High alumni, what does it mean to the school to have this?
Absolutely. This is more about see us, be us. A lot of these kids don't have any exposure to positive male role models. They want to be great, but they don't know that they need to go to college first. So if they see students that are successful in college, they can be us. I went to Crenshaw High School, single-parent household, living in a very bad neighborhood, and I did it. So we're here to say if we can do it, you can do it too.
Love that. Thank you so much to all of you. Love the message. Love the power that you exude as well. This is really going to be such an amazing event here, inspiring so many students. I'll send it back to you.
Wow.
Right. Coco, thank you.
Little gentleman over there.
I know.
Steadfast, honest,
That's right.
and true. Yeah.
Hello. I like your tie today, too.
Nice.
Good morning. On this Thursday, are you ready to talk music?
Always.
Let's talk music, shall we? Entertainment sponsored by Yamava Resort and Casino. March is Women's History Month. Where are my ladies? Ow, ow. All right. Thank you, Saul. Support and ally over there, our stage manager.
Show up, ladies.
That's right, we show up. Well, Billboard is spotlighting some very animated, historical, and golden ladies.
We're going up inside a moment. You know together we're glowing. Gonna be golden.
Oh, here they go. That's right, Billboard's 2026 Women of the Year are none other than EJ, Audrey Nuna, and Ray Ami. From the K-pop Demon Hunters, the singers behind the hit song Golden. The K-pop Demon Hunters trio topped the Billboard Hot 100 for 8 weeks as the voices behind the Golden Girl group, and the trio will be honored at the Billboard Women in Music ceremony April 29th at the Hollywood Palladium.
And singing at the Oscars.
Yeah. It's going to be a very golden 2026, including Move. Get out the way. Get out the way. Luda is going to be hosting the iHeartRadio Music Awards, and he will be honored that evening as well. That's right, roll out the red carpet because Ludacris will also be receiving the 2026 iHeartRadio Landmark Award, which honors artists whose portfolio has shaped culture across multiple decades. I mean, come on, I was bumping Luda in high school.
Absolutely, I was.
Ludacris has sold 17 million albums in the U.S. and 24 million worldwide. Let's just do a roll call of a rollout of his songs. My Chick Bad, Roll Out, Southern Hospitality, and of course, Bob, I want to know if you know, I got in different area
Rose in different area codes. Rose.
And then he'd list all the area codes, you know?
I got my 818.
818, 310, 626.
Got my 323.
949.
Got my...
You got one
202.
You got a 212?
Got a 212.
Got my 212, 917.
562.
My 646.
Don't forget 562.
330.
Long Beach, Whittier. I see you.
617.
That's right. 714-949. The OC.
Last hour we asked you, are you an avid reader? Clearly we read the ludicrous lyrics, but we want to know, how many books do you read? Is it 1 to 3 a month, 4 or more? Not since high school, or you prefer audiobooks? 42%. We got some readers watching us.
Yeah.
They read 1 to 3 books a month. Go to foxla.com/vote.
Expand your minds. That's right. All right, coming up, helping students go to college. Speaking of expanding your mind, applications are now open for zero-interest loans.
The director of the Jewish Free Loan Association will be here with those details. He said free. First, a check of traffic.
And Good Day Late Traffic is sponsored by Law Offices of Jacob and Ronnie, and call jacob.com. We do have this brand new issue. We're going to take it over to the Long Beach area. An SUV versus a truck collided here northbound side of 405 at Cherry Avenue. It is taking away the fast lane, and already we're picking up some moderate delays behind that incident. And back over to the issue in Riverside, multiple vehicle crash here, westbound 91 at 14th Street. Multiple tow trucks are en route, and yes, it has you backed up for at least a mile or so. A live Caltrans camera, both directions of the 405 at La Tierra. The southbound side moving, northbound side, very typical slowing. Here's a look at some other traffic hotspots.
I looked up and just ran.
Maybe we need to seek somebody who does have the expertise to be able to guide us through the process.
If you're getting to an accident,
you're in good hands by dealing with Jacob and Ron.
Call Jacob.
Parker. I look outside, flying with Sky Fox right now. Looks good. We've got sunshine, and it's going to heat up pretty quickly today with this ridge of high pressure that is in control of our weather, producing dangerously hot temperatures, not just through today and tomorrow, but through the weekend, really, and this is going to continue into next week. So we do have those heat alerts that are in place, widespread heat advisories for potentially dangerous hot conditions that could cause some heat-related illnesses. So you really want to be careful out there. Drink a lot of water if you have to be outside. If you have to work under these weather conditions, make sure you take numerous breaks, and please check on the elderly, the kids, and those pets as well. 2 to 4 foot sets. Ventura County, LA beaches a little bit bigger today. in Orange County, San Diego, 3 to 5 feet. Here's your 7-day forecast as we really time out the heat here. 84 along the coast. We're going to stay in the 70s through the weekend. That's above normal, and then back to the 80s next week. A very hot week next week, maybe even potentially hotter than this week. 93 for downtown LA. Look at that. We're going to stay in the upper 80s through early next week, and then right back up for St. Patrick's Day in those mid-90s. Valleys, Inland Empire, 95 degrees today. Lots of sunshine. 97 by next week, Tuesday, St. Patrick's Day. 68 up into the mountains. 71 tomorrow. One of the reasons why they're going to close a little bit early. Snow Valley Resort closing this Sunday. So get your runs in if you still want to go play in the snow. 82 in the high desert today. Low desert areas 95 in Palm Springs. Triple digits coming back just in time for next week. Back to you.
All right, Maria, thank you. So for a lot of parents and their kids, high school graduation is only months away.
Here it comes. As one journey ends, another more expensive one begins. We're talking about college, of course. Lots of families are waiting to get those acceptance letters from schools, and talking about how you're going to pay for all this, how you're going to pay for the tuition. Scholarships, if any, only go so far, which means student loans are crucial for many in the college planning process.
So our next guest is here to help. Rachel Gross, Executive Director of the Jewish Free Loan Association, which is offering zero-interest loans for students. Zero interest. That is the key word.
Sounds almost too good to be true that this even exists. So tell us about the Jewish Free Loan Association. It started in the early 1900s, you said?
Yes, so Jewish Free Loan Association was founded in 1904.
Wow.
We've been offering interest-free, zero-interest loans to residents of Los Angeles, Ventura, and Santa Barbara counties since 1904, over 100 years.
Wow, a lot of people might not even know that that has been a thing. So how does it work, and how do you apply for it?
Well, our student loan program is actually very simple to apply to. You go on our website, jfla.org, and you click Apply Now. And students are eligible to borrow up to $10,000, renewable annually. Our applications are open now. Our enrollment period is starting now, and I encourage everyone to apply as quickly as they can, because we are a nonprofit. We're not a bank. It is first come, first serve for the student loans. And you do not need to be going to a college that's located in Southern California. You just need to have a permanent address, have grown up in Greater Los Angeles, in Santa Barbara, Ventura, or Santa Barbara counties.
And you were quick to point out to me that you do not have to be Jewish in order to apply for this, right?
That's correct. You do not need to be Jewish. Anyone can apply. Our loans are available to anyone in the community. You need to be a full-time student. You could be going to undergraduate programs, technical and vocational programs, or graduate school.
And how does the organization decide who gets the loan? Like who, you know, I mean, there could be a number of people applying out there, but who gets the loan?
Absolutely. So first of all of our loans require guarantors, and our student loans require 2 guarantors. So that can be anyone in the student's life. It can be a parent, a family member, a family friend, anyone who's going to guarantee the loan. And then the process is really on a rolling basis, and that's why I encourage students to apply right away, because we will run out of dollars to lend. Last year we lent out $4 million, and this year we're hoping to lend out about $5 million. But you know, that there are a lot of students in need, and so the money doesn't go as far as we would like it to.
How have you seen that need change throughout the years?
The need is ever increasing. I mean, you know, the cost of going to school is increasing, the cost of life is increasing, and all the factors around applying to college are becoming more and more expensive. It's not just the tuition, right? It's the housing costs, it's purchasing a computer, transportation to and from school, and our loans can be used for any purpose associated with attending the university.
And so you say they're renewable. Do you have to reapply? If you had the loan this year, do you have to reapply for the following year?
Yes, you have to reapply every year, and every year you are eligible for up to $10,000.
Wow. It's got to be pretty gratifying for you and your organization, because this is like, it's those little gaps, right? I mean, say a little, but $10,000 can make a huge difference for someone's matriculation through. You don't have to worry about
Think about how much,
you're going to make ends meet.
Room and board costs, books costs. I mean, all the smaller things that add up to be a lot of money.
Absolutely. I mean, going to school is extremely expensive, especially in today's environment. And also, you know, there are situations where families can plan and then things don't work out. Like, for example, you know, we had a student, her name was Cindy, who was attending Cal State Northridge. This was a year ago, and she was about to graduate, and she grew up in a single-parent home, and her mother lost her job. And without the $10,000 loan from Jewish Free Loan, she really wouldn't have been able to stay in school and graduate. So it can be very important.
Yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of those incredible stories out there. Okay, that money is available for you. Thank you so much for joining us. It's
Thank you.
Really good thing for the folks to have out there.
Yeah, and hey, for more information, if you want to learn more about this, just go to jfla.org, or you can give them a call. The number is right there at the bottom of your screen, 310-735-4911. Thank you. We'll be right back.
So is there like an app or something like that too?
Yes, there is an app.
Good morning. Welcome to 9 a.m. I'm Roxy Carpadian.
And I'm Sandra Endo. Thanks for joining us. Let's take a look at today's headlines.
Violent encounter in Sun Valley. A man gets pistol whipped, another beaten for trying to stop carjackers. Police say there could be dozen suspects involved. What we know at this hour.
Plus, amid the war with Iran, concerns growing here in California regarding potential drone strikes. What you need to know.
And granting asylum to women in the Iranian soccer team. Well, only 6 members ultimately decided to stay in Australia while the rest went back to Iran. First, though, we got to check on that weather, and oh, it's heating up.
Yep, it's still on track, guys. We're talking about a heat wave that's going to last for quite a while, actually. So I want you to get used to it, and I want you to stay heat safe. Right now, we're looking at our satellite and radar pictures, and you can tell that high pressure is in control. There's not a cloud. It's mostly sunny skies already, so it will warm up quickly. It's already in the low 70s now in parts of the valley, like Woodland Hills, 71 degrees. 68 there in downtown LA, 67 in Ontario. It's above freezing now in Big Bear, 34 degrees, 75 in Palm Springs. As we look at our high temperatures this afternoon, it's going to get into the mid-90s in the low desert in the Coachella Valley. High desert areas, 82. The mountains should get close to 70 later this afternoon. In downtown LA, you're definitely going to feel the difference today. The valleys as well, mid-90s with temperatures some 20 degrees plus above average along our coastline, mid-80s as well. We'll talk about the heat. We'll talk about some heat alerts that are in place coming up in just a few moments. In the meantime, I'll send it back to you.
All right, Maria, thank you. So 2 men are beat up, 1 pistol whip when they tried to stop a group of people from carjacking luxury cars in Sun Valley.
Let's go to Gigi Graciette, who's standing by with more on what exactly happened and how the injured are doing this morning. Good morning, Gigi.
Good morning. We're learning from the LAPD that this all started when a man tried to sell a car and he thought he was meeting the buyer. What he was really meeting was a group of suspects who ambushed him and his friend, beat them up, and stole both the car that was for sale and the other car that they arrived in. Take a look. You can see one of the victims there bleeding from his head after being pistol whipped. This all started last night just before 10:30. A frantic 911 call to police reporting that anywhere from 10 to a dozen suspects were attacking 2 men in an alley behind Lancashire near the 5 freeway here in Sun Valley. Police confirming the 2 victims had arranged to meet someone in this area to sell them a car, a BMW. But when the 2 men arrived at the meeting spot, they were unexpectedly confronted by a group of men, anywhere from 10 to a dozen suspects who police say attacked them and ended up carjacking the victims, stealing both the BMW and another car one of the men had arrived in, a Genesis. The scene was so chaotic, the injured men couldn't even say if the attackers were still on the scene, so officers moved in to search a property, but first they had to remove 2 guard dogs. Once inside, they found the suspects were gone. Now, one of the cars stolen, a Genesis, that's part of Hyundai's luxury line, was later found abandoned, but the BMW has not been found. Meanwhile, the men were taken to the hospital to be treated for their injuries. They have since been released. No real suspect description to go on, but police tell me their detectives have been working on this case all night long. Reporting live this morning, I'm Gigi Graciette. Back to you.
You know, Gigi, when sales like this take place, right, between private buyers, they always encourage you to meet maybe in a location where there's people around, maybe even near a police station, right?
Exactly. This is a great reminder. If you're selling something, if you don't know the buyer, if he or she is not a friend, then meet in a public, well-lit place. Don't meet at 10:30 at night. Something very similar happened in Van Nuys just last month. A group of kids met who they thought were buyers for some clothes. They ended up getting beaten up and had all the clothes stolen for them. So it's an important lesson.
Yeah, an important reminder, that's for sure. Gigi, thank you. We do have some developing news now overseas. The war with Iran overnight, an Iranian attack at a government facility in Bahrain triggers a massive fire. Look at this video showing huge fire northeast of Bahrain's capital city early this morning. Bahrain is home of the U.S. Navy's 5th Fleet headquarters. The United Nations Security Council did vote to approve a resolution demanding that Iran stop attacking its neighboring nations, but Iran keeps attacking.
At this hour, here are some other top headlines coming out of the war with Iran. Iran's new supreme leader made his first public comments today. Mujtaba Khamenei says the Strait of Hormuz should remain closed and warns all U.S. military bases in the Middle East should be shut down immediately or they will be attacked.
Meanwhile, Iran says it struck an American oil tanker in the Persian Gulf after the ship disobeyed and ignored warnings from the Iranian Navy.
And the global price of oil has pushed past $100 a barrel, and the Pentagon told Congress that the U.S. cost of the war was more than $11.3 billion in just the first 6 days.
Iran will also not be taking part in this year's World Cup. This is according to the country's sports minister, and he recently told Iranian state media that after the, quote, corrupt government assassination of their leader, they could no longer participate in the tournament. Iran was originally scheduled to play 2 matches in Los Angeles this June against New Zealand and Belgium before facing Egypt in Seattle. It is unclear which teams might take Iran's place in the tournament. ESPN reports it is possible that Iraq or the UAE might take their place.
Meantime, 6 members of Iran's women's soccer team have been granted asylum in Australia. 5 of them are athletes and the others a staff member. A 7th woman changed her mind at the last minute and she'll be returning to Iran. Activists say efforts to get the players asylum began a year ago. Plans escalated after the women faced threats for choosing not to salute or sing during the Iranian national anthem at their first Asian Cup soccer game last week.
These women got back on that plane for their family. They know their family is at risk. They know that they are not safe. When they refused to sing to that national anthem, they were telling the regime, I do not represent you.
The other players who refused the asylum offers are now in Malaysia waiting to return to Iran. Activists say most, if not all, of those players would have stayed but may have feared what would happen to loved ones back home.
And the war with Iran is raising more security concerns here at home, with the FBI warning about the potential for drone strikes right here in California.
Mario Ramirez live in Hollywood with local reaction to that warning. Mario?
Yeah, that's right. Federal authorities reportedly alerting law enforcement across the state about this possible Iranian drone attack, and it is sparking security concerns.
All right, we will check back in with Mario after we fix that technical issue, but we do have breaking news out of Norfolk, Virginia right now. Officials are responding to a school shooting at Old Dominion University. Initial reports indicate 2 people were injured in what appears to be a single-person attack. The gunman is dead. Local police and federal agents are on site working the investigation and taking a live look now. And the university posted the following message on social media saying, quote, shortly before 10:49 a.m., a gunman in Constant Hall opened fire. 2 people were injured. Old Dominion University Police, Norfolk Police, and emergency personnel responded immediately. The gunman is now deceased. The injured were transported to a local hospital. Old Dominion University has canceled classes and operations on main campus for the remainder of the day. So please avoid that area. Obviously, we'll work to continue to follow this situation as we get updates.
All right, developing this morning, the Trump administration is asking the Supreme Court to end protections for Haitian immigrants. Temporary protected status allows over 350,000 Haitians to live and work in the U.S. The program was created for migrants from countries facing crises like natural disaster or violence, and Haiti first received its TPS status after the 2010 earthquake, and critics are arguing ending it ignores Haiti's worsening conditions. The Trump administration says the program inflicts harm on national interest.
Happening today, jury instructions and closing arguments will begin in a social media addiction trial. The defense rested its case yesterday. A 20-year-old who is only going by the name KGM is suing Meta and Google for allegedly being harmful to her mental health growing up. Her attorney says she's been on social media since she was 6 years old, making YouTube videos and posting content. KGM says she was online
nonstop, and apps like Instagram exposed her to harmful and depressing content that led to self-harm and sextortion. A verdict could result in significant monetary penalties for Meta and Google and likely force a surge in settlements for more than 1,600 other pending cases.
A new story emerging from the LA fires accusing an LA County employee actually of sleeping on the job and impacting evacuation alerts. So this is coming from an online publication, LAUSD. They report an allegation that someone with a long history of sleeping on the job was in charge of sending evacuation alerts during the critical moments of the Eaton fire. And this is according to a whistleblower complaint, which was filed with the county late last year. The man who filed the complaint has been an associate director in the county's Office of Emergency Management, and since 2023, he has been speaking of an employee who's supervising the overnight shift from January 7th through the morning of January 8th. Responding to the story that the man said he was not asleep during the fires, he retired, though, 2 months later.
In just 1 hour, civil rights attorneys will demand answers after the deadly fire in Altadena. Attorney Ben Crump is expected to speak at a news conference at 11 o'clock to discuss a potential federal lawsuit against LA County if evidence shows unequal emergency protection during the fire. The fire swept through a historically black neighborhood, killing 19 people, most of them seniors.
All right, a lot more coming up on Good Day LA. Stay with us. First, though, let's check on the roads out there with Maria.
Yeah, let's talk about traffic. Good Day LA traffic is brought to you by DTLA Law Group Accident and Injury Attorneys. As we take a look at one of our live traffic cameras, this actually looks pretty good. This is the northbound 605. This is at, I can't read the bottom there. Is that, 605 at Rosecrans. Both sides, actually, of the 605 here at this portion. Driving nicely with those cars. Good. Looking at our drive times in and out of downtown LA, westbound 10 going towards Santa Monica between the 5 to the 405, 38 minutes. Northbound 110 between the 405 to the 10, 28 minutes. Actually, that's not too bad this hour. Westbound 60 between the 57 to the 5, slow, 41 minutes there. Here's a look at some of the other traffic hotspots.
This broadcast is locally sponsored by DTLA Law Group, Auto Accident and Injury Attorneys. Have an injury? Text Injury Help to 40222 or visit us online at calldowntown.com. Message and data rates and usage may apply.
Hello, ladies. Okay, so there are two people in this world, those who are loving the Colleen Hoover books and movies, and those who just haven't picked one up yet and or watched any of the movies. But you did. You watched It Ends With Us.
Oh, okay, that's true.
Yeah. I know your viewing habits
better than I do.
And I saw the preview for this, so it intrigued me.
Okay. Did you see the preview for this on our show?
No, in a movie theater. That's why I asked you all about it, but I can't wait for you to tell us.
Okay, great. Entertainment is sponsored by Yamava Resort and Casino. Colleen Hoover, she knows how to write romance, okay? She really knows how to pull on those heartstrings. Her books have turned into films like It Ends With Us, starring Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, Regretting You with Allison Williams and Dave Franco, and now we have Reminders of Him with Tyreek Withers and Micah Monroe.
As you know, I lived there.
I'm not here to see you. I need to see my daughter.
You're hurt. Scotty was my best friend. When he died, we all came together to raise a little girl.
When you were in it, I'm sure there were a lot of laughs behind the scenes with you guys.
Yes.
Both fun. But were there actual real tears behind the scenes too?
Yes.
In rehearsals, on set, I think there's one scene, our last scene together. I was filming my coverage and it was cool, like the emotion was there but not fully there. Then it flipped to her coverage and I was like, this is our last scene together. Next thing you know, I'm like crying.
Both sobs. And then seeing each other
It was
cry.
an unselfish scene partner moment.
Yeah, that was. I was like, whoa. For sure. So then here's my next question. The film is called Reminders of Him. For Tyreek, what will always remind you of Tyreek? Years to come, you'll text him and you'll say, this reminded me of you. What is it? Is it a song? Is it a meme? Is it a vocal stim?
I feel like there's so many things. Where do I... The Lorax.
The Lorax?
The Lorax.
Like Dr. Seuss?
Yes, he dressed up as the Lorax. I walked into my trailer one morning and he was there like this. Ah! And I was like, ah!
Okay. So from now on, so you'll always know 10 years from now, Michael will text you and say, I just saw the Lorax.
Yeah.
And remind
And if you see them casting live action,
I'll make sure to put your name in.
Of course.
Yes.
Now, what is your reminder of her?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Gonna be.
No pressure.
No, I know when that hotline bling.
Oh, no.
I'm sorry. I'm going to need a back it up backstory. Is this a Drake moment?
I know when that hotline bling. A long time ago, I did this little interview, and in it, I am singing the lyrics.
Acapella. And I know when that hotline bling is the best
It's
thing.
his favorite thing.
I wanted to post it and say reminders of her.
You should.
Well, she
Well,
didn't
maybe
give me the...
y'all will get to see it.
Maybe it'll be coming soon. That's
It
good.
might be.
No, I'm going to be honest. I was not expecting Drake and the Lorax, but
Yeah.
I'm here for it. New year for it.
Yes.
Anytime I see the word him now, it's just going to remind me of you. Is that something?
You know, that's something I like negotiated in the contract.
Movies with him in it?
Yeah, I can't do it if it doesn't say him from now on.
Then the parents want, okay, did it make sense now? I spent some time telling you what these movies are about. So based on this, pretty juicy and messy.
Juicy, yeah.
Messy's right.
Yeah.
But I think that the theme of this film is forgiveness.
But it got you, right?
It did get me. Because usually I sit there like, you're not going to get me, Colleen Hoover. I'm not going to cry. You're not going to get me. And then I went with my friend Roya, who you know, to see it. The last 20 minutes of the movie.
You guys were both crying.
Stop it. We're both going like this, yeah. It's in theaters now, and let me ask, if you go, please message me and let me know if the last 20 minutes got you as well. She has a way of pulling on your heartstrings. You did see It Ends With Us, but did you cry?
Can't remember.
Then probably not.
No,
you would
I don't,
remember.
I'm a crier, though. I probably did.
Okay, watch Next Regretting You, and then you can watch this one.
Okay.
All right. Sandy?
You know what?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Different tinted glasses watching it. All right, well, speaking of Colleen Hoover and her books, last hour we asked you, are you an avid reader? Ladies, which one would you pick on here? It looks like...
Are we talking about books or like articles?
38 memes on social media. 38% of you say you prefer audiobooks. Go to foxla.com/vote. In second place, we've got some avid readers. 1 to 3 books a month is a good amount.
Do children's books count? Because I would read those avidly.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yes, they do. Message me what you're reading. I want some good book suggestions. All right, put them up. Put them up. Come on. All right, yeah. Ronda Rousey is in a fighting mood. The mixed martial arts legend is taking shots at the UFC ahead of her comeback fight against fellow legend Gina Carano. So Rousey says the UFC's low pay is forcing some fighters out of the octagon and onto adult content sites.
Oh,
Take
boy.
a listen.
It used to be that UFC was the best place that you could come in combat sports to make a living and be paid fairly, and now it's no longer. It's one of the worst places to go. It's why so many of their top athletes are leaving to go and find pay elsewhere. It's why their champions like Valentina are selling pictures of their titties on OnlyFans.
Oh, okay.
Wow. Yeah. So Rousey claims many fighters are living at poverty level, while the UFC was recently valued at more than $7 billion. It's not just a male-female pay gap issue here. Rousey pointed to a pay dispute involving champion John Jones, who says he was lowballed in negotiations on a proposed fight at the White House. Rousey and Carano's comeback fight is set to stream on Netflix on May 16th. You know, I have heard some buzz in the industry that these women on these sites do make a good amount of money. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, I've heard that these sites can,
hey, money talks.
Money talks can get you paid.
Yeah. Right. I mean, if they have to supplement their income somehow,
right.
You know.
None of us have an account on this desk, so this is all just what we've heard.
Maybe we just pay men and women more in sports, right?
Yeah.
That's an interesting idea.
Think about all the ticket sales and the viewership. Who's making money here? Not the athletes.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Right? So
yeah,
we'll look into that. We'll take a break. We'll be right back.
And welcome back to you. I'm meteorologist Maria Quaban. Good Day LA weather is sponsored by Pechanga Resort Casino. Looking at my window here, my big, beautiful monitor. Looking outside, not much in the way of cloud cover at all. The wind is actually on the lighter side here. This is our rooftop, our camera upstairs, looking out towards Century City. And we are definitely looking at this heat wave to stay on track. Area of high pressures in control of our weather. So giving us some slight breezes around the northeasterly side. We've got the offshore flow, and that is helping to warm us up today to the 90s. But we're going to see a prolonged period of time with these 90s and even triple digits. So that is going to give us some real heat dangers out there. So we want you to stay heat safe, please. We have heat alerts going, or are in effect rather, at least through tomorrow. And then as we look at more hot temperatures next week, another area of high pressure reinforcing where that previous one will be is definitely going to bring our temperatures up again next week to even hotter temperatures or a hotter range than this week. So we've got widespread heat advisories that are in effect all across Southern California. That means because these temperatures are going to be so high, it could cause those heat-related illnesses like heat exhaustion or worse, fatal heat stroke. So we want you to stay safe. Please drink lots of water. If you have to be out and about, make sure to just stay in some cool air conditioning. That's your best bet. 93 for downtown LA today. That's well above the average of 70. Here's your day planner for Riverside, looking at 92 by 4 p.m. this afternoon. I'll send it back to you.
All right, Maria, thank you. And don't forget, tonight it is going down between the Anaheim Ducks and the Toronto Maple Leafs. The game is at 4 p.m. on Fox 11 Plus, KCOP, where we will televise all Ducks games throughout the season. So don't miss it. We'll be right back.
Go Ducks!
Welcome to 9:30 on this Thursday morning. I'm Roxy Carpadian.
And I'm Sandra Endo. Let's take a look at today's headlines. As the war with Iran centers around the Middle East, there's new cause for concern in Los Angeles. Governor Gavin Newsom commenting on the FBI's warning of a potential drone strike.
Well, it's an interesting move by the Pentagon. It doesn't have to do with war. It has to do with beauty shots. The Department of War deciding to take issue with unflattering photos of Pete Hegseth.
And Chef Rene Redzepi stepping down from the high-end restaurant Noma following abuse allegations. What that means for the Silver Lake pop-up restaurant that just opened. But first, a check on weather.
Yeah, it's going to heat up, guys. In fact, you're kind of used to it a little bit, right, with March high temperatures. So far this entire month, every single day, we have had an above-average high temperature, including yesterday, 76 degrees. But so far, it hasn't been too bad, right? We had one 89-degree day on Sunday, but we have had 11 days in a row of above-average highs, on top of the last 8 days, rather, of February's above-average high temperature. So we've had 19 days in a row of really above normal temperatures, and now it's going to get really hot. So we want to give you this heat wave checklist with making sure you remember to drink a lot of water out there. I know you're thinking, why do you have to remind me? I have to remind you because you cannot take the heat for granted. It is considered the silent killer, and it is the leading cause of death in terms of weather-related deaths. So please stay heat safe. We want you to take numerous breaks from the sun. If you have to work under these weather conditions, wear the proper attire, wear a hat, make sure you wear loose-fitting, light-colored clothing. Get in air conditioning. If you don't have air conditioning at home, a lot of people don't, actually, still, here in Southern California. So try to get into a library or a shopping mall or a friend's where they have air conditioning. 93 is expected today for downtown LA. That's well above normal, even hotter conditions as we get into tomorrow and next week. So I'll go over all of that in just a few moments. Back to you.
All right, Maria, thank you. President Trump says Iran is being absolutely decimated as U.S. attacks continue targeting the Iranian military.
Plans are going into action to keep oil flowing, prices stable, as the Iranian regime uses key shipping routes for leverage. Fuel tankers went up in flames near a port in southern Iraq last night after a suspected Iranian attack in the Persian Gulf. The same thing is happening to boats crossing the Strait of Hormuz, disrupting 20% of the globe's oil supply. 3 members aboard a cargo vessel from Thailand are still missing this morning after Iran claimed responsibility for the attack. Secretary of Energy Chris Wright says that the U.S. will release 172 million barrels of oil from its strategic petroleum reserve. It is part of a larger effort from the International Energy Agency, which will make 400 million barrels of emergency oil available.
Gas prices are up again this morning, so here's a look at some of the averages in our area. According to AAA, in Los Angeles and Long Beach, we're seeing $5.40 per gallon. Orange County, $5.37. Riverside and San Bernardino, $5.29. And in Ventura, $5.35.
Security concerns here at home are on the rise after the FBI warns about the potential for Iranian drone strikes here in California.
Mario Ramirez live in Hollywood with more on that warning and reaction from state and local authorities. Mario?
That's right. Good morning, Sandra. Roxy. That ongoing conflict halfway across the globe sparking security concerns here at home. And we're talking large-scale events like the Oscars this weekend. We're just outside the Dolby Theater, and you can see the barriers here, part of the security setup. And now we're hearing organizers and authorities are taking extra precautions following that FBI warning. Take a look. Drone technology, it's becoming more common and more concerning in modern warfare. A recent federal bulletin reportedly sent to California law enforcement warned that Iran-affiliated actors may have discussed the possibility of a surprise drone attack against targets in California. That information described as unverified and unvetted, but it was reportedly shared with local agencies so they could remain alert, and it suggested the attack could potentially involve unmanned aerial vehicles launched from a vessel off the coast. And after the United States carried out strikes against Iran, intelligence officials say there are no details about when, where, or how an attack could happen. Meanwhile, Governor Newsom says his office is in constant contact with security and intelligence officials as they monitor these reports.
We've been aware of that information. We've been working collaboratively through the SOC, which we established right after the war began, the State Operations Center, working with the Office of Emergency Service, but also working locally to make sure we transmit any information that we have received. Drone issues have been always top of mind, and we've assembled some work groups specifically around those concerns.
And the Oscars, again, just days away, and security already taking shape. Workers building out the red carpet, setting up the arrival area, while at the same time, law enforcement preparing an extensive security perimeter around Hollywood Boulevard. Officials say barricades, checkpoints, and screening areas will surround the venue, and hundreds of officers, close to 1,000 from local and federal agencies, will be deployed throughout the area, including specialized units monitoring for possible drone activity during Oscars weekend. We've also reached out to the local FBI office for more on that bulletin, but have yet to hear back. We should mention officials are stressing there's no credible threat, but they are taking a proactive approach here, especially with large events like the Academy Awards. Live here in Hollywood, we'll send it back to you in the studio.
And of course, they're always urging people, if you see something, say something, just in case. It's better to be safe. All right, Mario, thank you. The headlines have, of course, been nonstop lately between the war with Iran and other turmoil happening in America in recent years, so it can be hard to catch a break.
Yeah, absolutely. And Brooke is here with some tips on how we can cope with everything that's going on.
No, seriously, for lack of a better word, you feel like you're going crazy a little bit sometimes. It is not normal for us to be inundated with so much tragedy, but here we are. So this morning I talked to a psychotherapist about how we can stay informed and sane. Angela Mull is a psychotherapist and owner of Creating Beautiful Minds Family Therapy. She says it's important to pay attention to yourself and how certain news makes you feel, and also try and create limits on when and how long you might read something, for instance. But you don't have to block everything out. Just stay aware of yourself. When it comes to your children, should you shield them from certain? Well, Angela says no. Focus on age-appropriate conversations, but have the talk, because she says they're going to hear about it anyway. She also has a tip for everyone, regardless of what's going on. Let yourself experience joy.
It can be something like going to the beach. If you like the water, is that a safe, calm place for you? It can be going to an animal shelter, petting some, animals or looking at animals, and also taking the children there. You mentioned children and the things that they have access to and their emotions. So making it a family event.
On Amazon, she actually has this journal that you can find. It's called Activating the Superpowers Within You. I said accelerate, but you really are accelerating your joy, okay? Look through it. It's actually pretty cool. Yeah, the superpowers within you. It's really just about maximizing your life, which I kind of think plays into this a little bit. Managing fears, boundaries, just how you feel every day. Yeah.
I like how it's done. There's prompts for you. Yeah, exactly. Very nicely done.
Yeah.
You know, I will tell you, the one thing about having kids is, in a way, it offers me an escape from everything that's happening in the world. When I'm with them, I'm like, okay, there is still innocence and there's still beauty in this world, and I can just like shut it all off and escape it for a little bit of time until I have to come back in here and face the real world.
That's right, and it's important for yourself, but also for your kids to name the feeling. They always say, name your feeling. What are you feeling? Scared, fearful, confused maybe? And then I like how in here it says name your fears too. Yeah,
and this is for adults.
Yeah, feelings and fears. Yeah.
You can do it together.
It maybe just like give you the tools that you need, because unfortunately, even for kids, like some kids, like there's some news depending on it that you can't escape. We're just in weird times.
That's right.
It's just coming at you from all angles, right? Like, it's overwhelming.
I always say, do your best.
Yeah, exactly.
But I like that experience, Joy. She said, make a joy list. So like, you have an assignment, okay? When I come back at 10, I need to know 3 things that made you happy this week.
Okay. You got it.
They can be little, they can be big.
Okay.
Seeing me is always an option.
Always joy.
Bonus point. All right, thank you. So photographers are banned from Pentagon news media briefings on the war with Iran for taking unflattering photos of U.S. War Secretary Pete Hegseth. It is not clear if the move comes from one objectionable photo of Hegseth or from some of total uncomplimentary photos of him that were shot at a March 2nd briefing, so we're going back to last week. The Washington Post reports that Hegseth's staff told colleagues they did not like the way he looked, so they shut the photographers out from the March 4th and 10th Pentagon briefings. The Pentagon press secretary saying the ban has more to do with using the space in the briefing room more effectively.
The parents of a 12-year-old girl who say died because of bullying at a school announced they plan to file a legal claim against the LA Unified School District. Kimberly Zavaleta died from brain injuries last month. The family's attorney says she was critically injured by a metal water bottle when she tried to protect her sister from bullying. At the press conference yesterday, he played this video which he says shows the entire incident. LAPD homicide detectives are investigating the case, and the medical examiner has yet to determine the cause of Kimberly's death.
The school definitely knew who this group of bullies were, and again, they failed to intervene. They failed to take Kimberly's mother's concerns seriously. They didn't do anything about it.
Pienso que pues quiero despertar de este sueño. Feels like this is a terrible nightmare that she wants to wake up from.
LAUSD responded to Kimberly's death, saying the district takes the safety and well-being of our students very seriously. We're currently cooperating with law enforcement in connection with this incident.
New this morning, fine dining restaurant Noma's high-profile LA pop-up is facing some backlash at the start of its official opening. Chef Rene Redzepi has stepped down amid allegations he abused his staff. The New York Times reports that he physically and verbally abused employees from 2009 to 2017. Several sponsors, including American Express, have ended their relationship with the restaurant. Redzepi posted a tearful speech he gave to his staff as he announced his resignation.
I'm sorry everyone is in this situation. I really, really am. You guys are running the show now. You understand? This is your restaurant now.
Despite protests, Noma's 16-week appearance in Silver Lake with seats priced at $1,500 per guest will continue as scheduled. Noma representatives have not commented on the New York Times article or Redzepi's resignation.
Meanwhile, if Noma is too expensive for you, don't worry, McDonald's has your back. The fast food chain is launching a new $3 value meal starting next month. It attempts to attract breakfast lovers on a tight budget. The value meal, referred to as McValue 2.0, includes a McMuffin, hash brown, and coffee bundle. It also includes other low-priced items like a sausage biscuit and a 4-piece chicken nugget.
Several Morehouse College students from LA are returning home to speak at assemblies at Jordan and Crenshaw High Schools.
Coco's live in Crenshaw with more on how organizers hope this inspires the next generation. Hi there, Coco.
Hey there, it's a wonderful day at Crenshaw High School, and this is really all about Morehouse Takes LA. You can hear the cheering going on because students are walking in for this empowering event. I am amongst alumni and parents and, of course, the mascot from Morehouse. Vanessa, I'm going to start with you to talk about why parent involvement is so important.
Oh, parent involvement is so important because we want to support our students, advocating, and make sure that families are welcome and that we can do our best for their 4 years at Morehouse to make sure that students are successful and parents are able to advocate for that success.
I love that. And Gigi, bouncing off of that, what it means to you to be here and to be involved.
Thank you. It means a lot to be here. My name is Gigi Fry, and I'm the Morehouse College Parent Council Regional Representative, also known as Region 8. We're here today to support the students, the men of Morehouse, as they take LA, and parent involvement is of utmost importance because even though they're college-age students, they still need our help. So that's what we're here for.
I love that. And same question for you, Sherry, what it means to you to be here and supporting your son, John.
Well, my son, John, I'm a Spelmanite, so anytime I hear Morehouse, I get excited. So my son is a freshman from Los Angeles, and he was selected from, 200 applicants. So I'm excited for him. I'm excited for him to return home, to pour into these young men from his hometown. And so anything I could do to support and help, that's why I'm here.
I love that. And same for you, Melanie. We spoke with Chaz earlier, what it means to you to be here.
Wow, it's such an honor to be here. I'm so impressed with the young men. And the parent involvement, to me, it's really important to serve as that safety net to support not only our students at Morehouse, but also to support the college. The college can only do so much, and then we try to stand in the gap to be that safety net. It really does take a village.
It does take a village. And Brandon, you were telling me that you're from here, so this means a lot to you. What do you think it means to the community?
I think it's really important for them to be able to see this type of situations. I was telling the students yesterday that they don't even understand the seeds that they're sowing in these young men's lives. It's life-changing. Last year they were here, and I talked to a lot of students who were like, I have to go to Morehouse now, or first time even thinking about going to college, period. And that was because of these young men making this type of sacrifice to come across the nation and pour into. And so they're really lifeguards on duty, for sure.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Brandon. Thank you so much to all of you for speaking, and to the mascot as well. You can hear the excitement in here. The students are going to have a wonderful day. Mentorship, empowerment, all about that community building. Such an important message for the students here. I'll send it back to you.
I like the mascot. Really good looking. All right, Coco, thank you.
I like the mascot too.
Yeah, he was flexing. Saw that. All right, coming up, Amanda is coming back to explain trending Gen Z music terminology. Have you ever heard of Kaya Asylum? Well, she'll explain.
I've not. Plus, we're trying out the cold foam collab between Paris Hilton and International Delight. Details on the free samples and the fun merch in Santa Monica today.
I like this music. Look at this view. This is a look outside right now. This camera view sponsored by Ontario International Airport. Can you tell it's hot? It's going to be hot, especially there on the tarmac. Look at that plane getting ready to head out. American Airlines maybe headed to the East Coast. How about this? I think it's a mix of rain and some snow, huh? Look at Washington, D.C. right now in the White House. Wow, it is still officially winter on the calendar, by the way, and we are going to be talking about temperatures hotter than summertime highs for us here in SoCal. In the meantime, if you're headed to Denver, 69 degrees there with some clouds, 67 in Houston, Chicago 47, New York JFK. We do have some wet weather along with some snow there, 40 degrees for that high temperature. High pressure is in control of our weather here in the west. That's why it's going to be so hot. Big dome of high pressure will just get reinforced again as we get into next week. So beginning today, we're really looking at a prolonged period. In fact, if you think it's hot today and tomorrow, wait till next week, Wednesday, Thursday, this dome of high pressure will be around and it's going to be even stronger. So we could be looking at even hotter temperatures as we get to next week. So I really want to caution you about what you're doing, your plans. Stay heat safe over the next several days. If you're headed to the beach to get some relief, which is a good idea, temperatures on the sand cooler in the 70s and that sea breeze as well, a little bit of that, and temperatures in the water, look at that, in the 60s. But we do have some bigger wave heights, 3 to 5 feet, Orange County, San Diego, 2 to 4 feet, Ventura into LA. Look at 84 along the coast to the 70s this weekend. However, that's still above average. Downtown LA, 93 today. Looking at staying there really as we get into next week, particularly 95 for the valleys and the Inland Empire. Next week is St. Patrick's Day on Tuesday, and it's going to be a hot one up into the mountains as well. 68 degrees to nearly 80 by next week, Tuesday. I'll send it back to you.
Thank you, Maria. Ladies, you know I like to keep you up to date with all the things, all the terms online, right? Well, I'd like you to come in, and I'd like to welcome you into the Kaya Asylum. I'm sure you've heard of one-hit wonders, right? The artists with one massive hit, and then they seem to just disappear. But what about the ones with hype? I mean, fan support and plenty of music. What happens to them? Yet somehow they never quite break through. Well, this morning I'm breaking down the fictional pop prison. It is home to artists waiting for their big moment, the Kaya Asylum. Perfect example. You like that song, Maria. Who sings it?
I don't know.
That is the point. It's BB Rexa.
Okay, BB.
Can you name another BB Rexa song?
No, ma'am.
Can you, Sandra? Can you, Roxy?
Please.
Welcome to the Kaya Asylum. Let's talk about the Kaya Asylum. You can't do it without BB Rexa. Okay,
I thought that was a band, Kaya Asylum.
I did too. Nope. The internet term has been around for a while. It named after the artist behind the 2002 hit My Neck, My Back. Okay, we all know that song, right? As harsh as it sounds, the phrase has taken up a life of its own online, used mostly by chronically online young fans, and now the artists themselves. BB Rexa shared this Kaya Asylum meme on social media showing several artists being let out of the proverbial prison while she's still locked up. The rules for who belongs there may be fuzzy, but the internet seems to agree on a few so-called inmates. Would you like to meet them? Starting with BB Rexa herself, who's been joking with fans for months about wanting out. Ava Max has hundreds of song credits and a billion-stream collab with Tiesto.
Whoa.
Ooh, Tiesto.
But could you name it? Could you name the song, Sandra?
No, I gotta hear it.
Okay. Or anything else that she's put out lately? She's done that. Oh, she's sweet but a psycho.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And
We've
J-Lo?
also got J-Lo. She's also on the list as a recent inmate with fans.
No, come on. We know J-Lo.
But Maria, fans are saying her last true hit came out in 2011. Some think her new song could be the ticket out, but the jury is still out. Other inmates in the mix, Camila Cabello, Sam Smith, and Shawn Mendes.
No, they're not in there.
No? Would you like to meet the escapees? Okay. Sabrina Carpenter. She used to live in the Kaya Asylum. Wow, I interviewed her back in the day. But after the success of her 6th album with hits like Espresso, Taste, and Please, 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 she's been set free.
6th?
Wow. Brat finally freed Charlie XCX of her shackles in the Kaya Asylum after 15 years in the industry. Zara Larson's another recent escapee, thanks to the internet buzz around the stateside remix. And then there's Gigi Watt, Iggy Azalea, who the internet says has been released on parole because she's no longer trying to make it as a pop star. So she's released with some conditions. And that is the Kaya Asylum, my ladies.
Okay.
Wow.
Kaya Asylum. I learned something new. I really thought it was a band.
So did I. That'd be a good name for a band.
I just thought I didn't know all these artists, and then my daughter just listens to them on Spotify. I'm like, oh, it's just because I'm old, I don't know.
But Charlie XCX had a lot of songs like, I don't want to break the rules, I don't want to, you know that song, Boys and Girls?
Yeah.
But that wasn't cool, like brat summer.
Isn't the Charlie XCX because of the heart?
Yeah,
the
yeah.
apple? The apple falls?
The apple falls. The song that has the billion streams of Tiesto, The Motto.
Oh, yeah.
I have to hear it, though. I can't think of
the motto.
Oh,
yeah.
Motto.
Yeah,
That's a great song.
Right.
I love that
That's
song.
Ava Max.
But it's like her only one that you would know, right? Is that why?
No, Sweet But Psycho.
Oh, yeah, Sweet But Psycho.
You said she had a bunch with Tiesto, right?
That's the one that has the billion streams.
Okay.
But she's got a bunch of hits.
Yeah.
I'm here for the taste test.
All right, let's do it. It's time
But
for
now,
a taste
go send it
test.
to your son. You're going to get cool points.
Okay.
So these new flavors are the collaboration between International Delight and Paramount. Hilton. Look at that.
Yes. See?
So we're talking about these limited edition creamers now available. You can try them for free this afternoon in Santa Monica. The International Delight crew is going to be at Ocean and Colorado Plaza today at 4:30 for a high energy pop-up that is open to the public with free samples, fun merch. Look at these bottles. I love the packaging.
Do you want to see
Here's
me
raspberry
demo
champagne.
it?
It smells so good.
You ready? You want to see it in action?
Cotton
Here we go.
candy.
Ready?
It's sweet and spicy.
Do it.
Look at the color.
Whoa!
Guys, it really tastes like it.
Look at that.
Cotton candy. I'm going to do sweet and spicy.
It tastes exactly like cotton candy.
It does.
Ooh.
It tastes delicious.
How fun.
Wait, I have a
I
little.
just like the bottles.
Do I have a
That
mustache?
would make you happy.
But it's a good mustache.
Opening
Oh
my
the
gosh.
Fridge, right?
It is cotton candy. Yes, it is.
I just
and it
wanna
made
go
me
like
very
this.
happy.
Wait a minute. I want to
Ooh, I like sweet and spicy. This is raspberry.
Who wants a whipped cream shot?
I want some on top of
Isn't it amazing how a little bit of sugar can make you happy? Don't get it on my computer.
Oh my god.
There you go.
Guys,
Okay,
There you go.
This is really
Cheers,
good.
ladies.
Cheers.
I'm melting. I'm melting.
Cheers, cheers. We have some young, cute girls in the studio. Have you heard of the Kaya Asylum?
Ooh, this is
Okay, we learned something today. We learned about cold foam cream.
All right, we'll be right back.
I can.
Ooh, this is really good.
It doesn't have any.
everyone. Welcome to your Thursday. Here's some of the stories we're covering for you this morning. The new Supreme Leader of Iran issues his first statement saying Iran will keep up attacks on its Arab neighbors and the Strait of Hormuz is leverage against the United States.
Drone attack from Iran from federal authorities being released to law enforcement agencies across the state, how they're responding and what it means for security at events like the Oscars coming up.
And it is heating up outside, definitely noticeable if you've been out there just yet. We've got an area of high pressure, big dome of high pressure over us. I'll tell you what that will mean exactly coming up in my complete forecast.
And right in time for the heat wave, a warning about staying out of the water at some local beaches. We'll tell you which ones just ahead.
Meanwhile, President Trump telling reporters last night on the tarmac at Joint Base Andrews, quote, Iran is being absolutely decimated.
But as U.S. forces keep blasting Iranian military capabilities, Iran is firing back, causing chaos for traffic on the Strait of Hormuz. Rebecca Caster's live in Capitol Hill with the very latest. Rebecca?
Sandra, Araxia, good morning. Plans are going into action to try to keep oil flowing and prices stable as the Iranian regime targets key shipping routes as a final point of leverage.
Flames and smoke engulfing fuel tankers near a port in southern Iraq last night after a suspected Iranian attack in the Persian Gulf. The same is happening to boats crossing the Strait of Hormuz, disrupting the globe's oil supply. Energy Secretary Chris Wright says the U.S. will now release 172 million barrels of oil from its Strategic Petroleum Reserve. It's part of a larger effort from the International Energy Agency, which will make 400 million barrels of emergency oil available.
The releases, certainly out of the U.S. Strategic Petroleum Reserve, they'll go over about 4 months. But this conflict, I don't think, goes that long.
Oil prices are already coming back down.
Democrats, like Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, wanted President Trump to release emergency oil, but still aren't satisfied with the direction of the war with Iran.
He's created many more problems than the Strategic Petroleum Reserve will solve.
Following the lead of the United States, other G7 countries are now exploring the possibility of using naval escorts so cargo ships can safely navigate the Gulf. But it's not happening yet.
We're likely not going to begin that task of escorting tankers through until that threat is removed.
According to U.S. Central Command, U.S. forces have hit more than 5,500 targets across Iran, working alongside Israeli soldiers since the fighting began.
It is a great honor for us to fight with you. You're doing a great job.
Thank you very much. Likewise, gentlemen.
Growing frustrated by a lack of timeline and rising costs, Democrats here are demanding public hearings so Trump officials can detail these prices and other decisions to the American people. Sandra and Araxia, back to you.
All right, Rebecca, a lot to keep track of as things change day by day. Thank you so much for that. And U.S. intelligence says Iran's government is not at risk of collapse despite ongoing U.S. and Israeli strikes. Recent reports show Iran's leadership remains in control even after Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei's death. His son, Mojtaba, has been named the new leader. While the conflict has escalated, officials say Iran's cleric regime is holding firm. Meanwhile, Kurdish groups are seeking U.S. support to challenge Iran, but they apparently lack the firepower to sustain a fight. The situation does remain fluid.
And could the war in Iran come to our shores? Police departments have reportedly been warned about possible revenge drone strikes right here in California.
Mario Ramirez live in Hollywood with more on the alleged threat and what local experts are saying about it. Mario?
Sandra, Araxia, I just spoke a few moments ago with the LAPD incident commander for this year's Oscars, and he says the department's been made aware of this FBI warning, and they've got more resources than they ever have in the event's 98-year history. So we're along Hollywood Boulevard. You can see part of the security setup here, the barriers ahead of the event, and now organizers and authorities, they're taking extra precautions following that FBI alert. Take a look. Drone technology, we know it's becoming more common and more concerning in modern warfare. A recent federal bulletin reportedly sent to California law enforcement warned that Iran-affiliated actors may have discussed the possibility of a surprise drone attack against targets in the state. Now, the information was described as unverified and unvetted, but it was reportedly shared with local agencies, so they could remain alert. And the information suggested the attack could potentially involve unmanned aerial vehicles launched from a vessel off the West Coast if the U.S. carried out strikes against Iran. Intelligence officials say there are no details about when, where, or how an attack could happen. Meanwhile, analysts say drones have quickly become one of the most common tools in modern warfare, and that's why authorities are paying such close attention.
This specific threat assessment, I think, is something that is very well could also be part of a ploy by the regime to sow fear and anxiety and to continue to raise the pressure on this administration to stop the fighting and to negotiate on Iranian terms. I still do not feel that the threat that is being presented is one that is imminent at the moment. I think it's good to know that if there's anything unusual flying overhead, we should all be cautious and aware.
Again, the Oscars is days away and security already taking shape. Workers building out the red carpet, setting up the arrival area, while at the same time, law enforcement is preparing an extensive security perimeter here around Hollywood Boulevard. Officials say those barricades, checkpoints, and screening areas will surround the venue, and hundreds, close to 1,000 officers from local and federal agencies deployed through the area. Meanwhile, both the LAPD and LA County Sheriff's Department releasing statements saying they're on heightened alert. In part, sheriff's officials said, quote, "We're working closely with our federal and local law enforcement partners to share intelligence and monitor the ongoing conflict in the Middle East and assess any potential impacts in our communities," end quote. Now, we do want to remind you that officials stress there's no current threat here to Los Angeles, the state, and we should also mention that we're going to hear more from the LAPD incident commander for the Oscars coming up on Good Day LA Plus at 11 o'clock. For now, live in Hollywood, we'll send it back to you.
All right, Mario, thank you. On to this now, a really scary situation. A group of armed bandits pistol whip a man. This all happening from a carjacking in Sun Valley.
Let's go to Gigi right now with more on how all of this went down, and also a reminder if you get yourself in a situation like this, Gigi.
That's right, Roxy and Sandra. Good morning, everyone. It all started, police tell us, with a man who wanted to sell his BMW and thought he was meeting a potential buyer. So he arrived here on Lancashire near the 5 freeway to meet that buyer. He brought a friend in another car when suddenly they were ambushed, and he ended up being pistol whipped, and that car he was selling, it was stolen. Take a look. There you see the man bleeding from his head, talking to police officers who responded here last night at around 10:30 after a 911 call reported up to a dozen suspects attacking 2 men in an alley. Again, this is behind Lancashire near the 5 freeway. Police confirming the 2 victims had arranged to meet a potential buyer in this area to sell them that car, the BMW. But when the 2 men arrived at the meeting spot, they were unexpectedly confronted by a group of men who police say attacked them and ended up carjacking the victims, stealing both the BMW and another car one of the men was driving, a Genesis. The scene was so chaotic, the injured men couldn't even say if the attackers were still in the area, so officers did search one property. They first had to remove some guard dogs that were left there. Once inside, they found the suspects were gone. One of the cars stolen, the Genesis, which is part of Hyundai's luxury line, was later found abandoned. Meanwhile, the 2 men, they were treated by paramedics, taken to the hospital, and have since been released. Meanwhile, that BMW is still out there somewhere. No real suspect description to go on, but we know that LAPD Foothill detectives have been working this case since last night. And as Roxia mentioned, this is a reminder, because this happens all too often. When you're going to sell something, meet in a public, well-lit place, not in an alley at 10:30 at night. Reporting live in Sun Valley, I'm Gigi Graciette. I'll send it back to you.
That's right, not so late in the evening, right, Gigi, where it is very dark and obviously not a lot of witnesses there involved. All right, thank you so much. A good reminder there. And onto this, the parents of a 12-year-old girl who say died because of bullying at school announced they plan to file a legal claim against the LA Unified School District. Kimberly Zavaleta died from brain injuries last month. The family's attorney says she was critically injured by a metal water bottle when she tried to protect her sister from bullying. At the press conference yesterday, he played this video, which he says shows the entire incident. LAPD homicide detectives are investigating the case, and the medical examiner has yet to determine the cause of Kimberly's death.
The school definitely knew who this group of bullies were, and again, they failed to intervene. They failed to take Kimberly's mother's concerns seriously. They didn't do anything about it.
Pienso que pues quiero despertar de este sueño.
Feels like this is a terrible nightmare that she wants to wake up from.
LAUSD responded to Kimberly's death, saying the district takes the safety and well-being of our students very seriously. We are currently cooperating with law enforcement in connection with this incident.
Parents at Chatsworth Park Elementary School demanding answers after mold concerns forced several classrooms to close. The closed classrooms are in just one building of the campus. The LA Unified School District saying it's relocated all affected students as a precaution. Parents say their kids have suffered from things like headaches, rashes, and nosebleeds. They believe recent rain may have worsened the mold problem.
As temperatures soar today, many of you may be heading out to the beach, but you have to be aware of this. The LA County Department of Public Health is warning people to avoid ocean water at some area beaches. Take a look at the list here. Water testing turned up unsafe bacteria levels at the Santa Monica Pier, Mother's Beach in Marina del Rey, and Leo Carrillo State Beach in Malibu.
Well, that's a bummer because a lot of people are going to want to go to the beach today to try to cool off. In fact, over the next several days. So you do want to pay attention to that. You also want to pay attention to this. This is a heat alert that is in place. This is our heat advisory, and it's pretty widespread. As you can see here, all the areas shaded in this orange color for really above average temperatures. And these temperatures so warm that it can cause those heat-related illnesses, heat exhaustion, or worse, heat stroke. So you want to pay attention to your body, to others, especially the elderly and the kids. And this is all because of this area of high pressure that's in control of our weather. Yes, we've got a clockwise flow of air around this high pressure system, so we've got an offshore flow. The winds are not too bad. It's really the heat that's going to be the story with this ridge of high pressure. So temperatures likely in the 90s to nearing triple digits, not common for this time of year, so very dangerous. And this will be over several days into next week, so it's a very prolonged period of high temperatures, and a lot of people don't have air conditioning, so really going to need to find air conditioning, get into a library, the movie theater, or a shopping mall just to stay cool, please. Heat is the #1 leading cause of weather-related deaths, so I want you to stay heat safe. Right now, it's 76 in Woodland Hills, 75 in downtown LA. It's already 81 in Corona. Temperatures right now at this hour compared to 24 hours ago, 12 degrees warmer in Burbank, plus 14 in Oxnard. So that's the difference already from yesterday. Avalon, almost 20 degrees warmer than it was yesterday at this hour. So that ridge of high pressure is strong and it is working. 82 for the high desert today for that high temperature, 95 in Palm Springs, downtown LA 93, well above the average of 70, mid-upper 90s for the valleys and the Inland Empire. So I'll talk about the long range forecast. We'll talk more about the heat coming up in just a few moments. Back to you.
A groundbreaking, expected today for new homes in Altadena. 6 families in La Viña neighborhood are rebuilding their homes after losing them in the Eaton fire. They're working with developers to speed up the process by using pre-designed home plans, which help save money and time. The ceremony is set to start at in this hour, actually.
10 o'clock, yeah. It probably is underway already. Some Palisades fire survivors in Malibu are expressing their frustration with the pace of the rebuilding process. Residents say more than 14 months after the fire, less than 40 building permits have been issued, and that comes out to about 5% of the 600 homes lost there. Malibu residents told our Matthew Seedorf that city planners and agencies need to speed things up.
We're on pace for Malibu to rebuild in 20 years. How do we speed this up?
At the current pace, that number could well be a reality. In this hill, if you have to construct a property, you need to undergo soils testing and geo reports and so on and so forth.
They're basically saying, well, we don't trust the geology from 65 years ago. We're going to, as long as we're going to, hold you to other code for the fire, we're going to hold you to other code that's unrelated to the fire.
We did reach out to Malibu for a comment last night, but have not heard back yet.
All right, a jury orders Kanye West to write a big check to a man who did work on his Malibu mansion.
And residents of the home for seniors are begging the city for help in moving a homeless encampment, that is. They're saying it's blocking access to a nearby metro stop for people who already have mobility problems. More on that story straight ahead.
And let's talk about traffic. Good Day LA Traffic is brought to you by My Home Sold. As we take a look at our real-time traffic map and the live look at side. Actually, let's take a look at one of our traffic cameras here. This is the westbound 10 freeway at Sunset Boulevard. Okay, just a snapshot now. I just saw it. It was moving just a few seconds ago. There it is. So a little sketchy here, but both sides moving nicely on that westbound 10 finally at Sunset Boulevard. Coming out of downtown LA, it has improved a little bit on that 10 between the 5 to the 405 towards Santa Monica, 36 minutes. Northbound 110, fantastic right now. It's just 15 minutes between the 405 to the 10, and on that west 60 between the 57 to the 5, slight improvement, at least 35 minutes there. Here's a look at some of the other traffic hotspots.
Hello, I'm Adrian Hernandez with MyHomeSold.com, and we want to buy your house cash. We'll give you a cash offer for your house today. Sell your house the easy way with no commissions, no fees, no repairs. For free, no obligation cash offer. Go to MyHomeSold.com.
Here. 10:19 right now. Authorities in Paramount need your help to identify two men suspected of arson. Detectives in the LA County Sheriff's Arson Explosives Unit hope someone can help catch 2 men caught on camera allegedly trying to set a fire at a Paramount business last month. The 2 suspects reportedly broke the window of a shop on Alondra Boulevard February 24th. Authorities say they then poured a flammable liquid inside the business and set it on fire. It was a 3rd arson attack on the unidentified business.
Yay, the formerly known performer, Kanye West, has been ordered to pay $140,000 to a handyman who worked for the rapper. So here's the decision the jury decided in favor of the plaintiff, Tony Saxton, ruling Ye did not pay him. Saxton testified that in 2021, the rapper agreed to pay him $20,000 weekly to oversee renovations at his Malibu mansion, but then paid him just a fraction of the amount due. And Saxton also allegedly says he worked in unsafe working conditions.
A growing homeless encampment in Boille Heights is frustrating people who live in a nearby senior apartment complex. And they say the encampment is on the corner of Boyle Avenue and Whittier Boulevard near the 6th Street Bridge. And they believe it threatens their safety and impedes seniors' access to a metro bus stop. City leaders say outreach teams have visited the encampment several times. But tenants of the Coronel Village complex say the problem persists.
It's really gotten bad. The bus comes and goes there, and we can't board the bus or get off without walking to the encampment. I walk my dog, and I don't feel safe anymore, and I'm just at wit's ends now. No one listens.
We did reach out to council member Jurado's office, Isabel Jurado, and she represents that area. And she says her office is working with homeless services to address this problem, adding LAUSD reached out. Outreach teams have visited the site several times, and the new CD14 Love team is already conducting proactive outreach, connecting people with housing referrals and services.
The headlines have been nonstop lately, and between the war in Iran and other turmoil happening here in America in the recent years, it can just be a lot.
A lot to handle, a lot to deal with. Brooke, you have some coping devices, right? Or ways we can try to make ourselves feel a little better.
I'm going to bring you some coping, some things you should do from an expert, because you don't want to do what I do. Okay? I've been saying this all morning, but it's not normal. It doesn't feel normal for us to be inundated with so much tragedy. But that's life right now, right? So I talked to a psychotherapist about how we can stay informed and also keep it together. Angela Mull is a psychotherapist and owner of Creating Beautiful Minds Family Therapy. And she says it's important to pay attention to yourself and how certain news makes you feel, right? She says you should try to create limits on when and how long you might read something, for instance, but you do not have to block everything out. You are still allowed to stay informed. When it comes to your children, should you shield them from certain news? Angela says no. Focus on age-appropriate conversations, but have the talk. Most important in that is checking in with yourself first.
For parents or adults, really check in with yourself first. Make sure that you're grounded before having these conversations, if necessary. Again, asking yourself those questions. Is it necessary that I need to inform the children about these things? Because, yeah, they will hear it at school. Sometimes they have their phones that they have information. So you do want to have the conversations. You don't want to avoid the conversations, but really meeting them at their level. What do they need to know about this situation?
So stay informed, but check in with yourself and your body. The same goes for your children. It's kind of like, what do they tell you on the plane? Like, you have to make sure you're good first.
All right, put the mask on yourself first. Yeah, before any others, right? Yeah. You got to take care of yourself.
Take care of yourself first. It's interesting because I feel like whenever, there are a lot of people when you say like, oh, this is hard to hear, just turn it off. But there are a lot of people who don't want to not know what's going on. And we don't talk to those people enough. We do. That's why we're here, you know? We try to do things in a gentle way, but...
Are you going to ask us about the assignment you gave us?
Oh, yes. Okay, I gave them an assignment early because Angela also says that one thing you should do is try to experience joy. And so that could be making a list of things that made you happy, little things that helps you live in it more, right? So it's like, oh, my coworker said she liked my outfit. And it's a little thing that you can live in for a bit. But what do you have for me? 3 things.
Okay, I'll go first. Okay. I have to tell you, it was kind of challenging, which is really sad.
Oh, really?
I could give you a long list of things that made me sad this week, but I had to really dig deep. Okay, so I have a good one, I think. I have good 3. My grandpa's 98th birthday is coming up Saturday.
Love it.
So the whole family's like busy planning that, which is like pretty amazing. So going through old pictures and all that. I've been able to pick up the kids from school every day this week, which is like such a treat.
Yes.
If you're a working parent, you know what that's like. So it's so nice to just like do that routine. And lastly, working out. I have to say, like, sometimes I don't want to be there, but right after I do feel the best. Mentally, you just feel like, you know, good, and it's a good feeling, the endorphins. So
I would say, going to my daughter's jazz concert. She played with the Glenn Miller Orchestra, which is pretty incredible. Her playing the trombone. So it's the first time I watched her perform doing that. So that was a lot of joy this week. And then sleeping, and then exercising.
Okay,
sleeping.
Okay.
Sleeping is a basic necessity.
I love that. I feel like Sandra hurried up and finished the assignment when the teacher walked in.
Yeah. I really only had one, but I added the other 2.
She eagerly looked at me and she's like, you go first.
She heard you said exercise and she said, yep, that to me too.
Yep, I added that on my list.
No, that was good. That's awesome.
How about you?
Oh, I didn't know. Oh, you know what? I love this. So my sister sent me, I am doing the exercise off the cuff. My sister sent me the packet for kindergarten for my nephew.
Oh, wow.
We have the kindergartner on the way. Love that. I got to spend some time with Star. We have opposite schedules. Our meteorologist, Star Harvey, is at night, and we got to hang out during the week this week. And
you got some new pictures, headshots.
I got to see Josh.
Yeah, there you go.
In the photos, we got to see one of our old bosses. So that gave me joy this week.
Oops, I should have put that on my list.
We can share them. We can share our joy.
Thank you, Brooke. All right, coming up, update on Punch the Monkey, changes zookeepers are making to keep him safe.
Oh, and Coco is going back to high school this morning.
Good morning, that's right. Crenshaw High School bringing the energy here for Morehouse College, LA. You can see the Maroon Tiger too. So much fun. We'll take you here live coming up.
All right, we do have some breaking news right now coming into our newsroom. Police are responding to a report of an active shooter. This is at a synagogue in West Bloomfield, Michigan, where smoke is billowing from a building. That's what we're being told. There you see active scene, number of law enforcement there on the scene, heavy law enforcement presence there. They're responding to reports of this active shooter at a synagogue. This is right outside of Detroit.
The local television station there, WDIT-TV, reporting that a truck crashed into the Temple Israel Synagogue in that township. This is footage from the scene right there. We're getting a live look on the ground. You can see a number of emergency vehicles, a wide response right here. Dozens of police vehicles surrounding the building right now. The Jewish Federation of Detroit is advising all Jewish organizations in that area to go into lockdown protocol. Nobody in or out of your building.
And we'll obviously, this is a very active scene. This is all happening as we're bringing this to you. So the camera is moving all over the place. You see people all over the scene there, running back and forth. The more information we get throughout our newscast, of course, we'll bring it to you. But it is a chaotic scene there right now. West Bloomfield, Michigan there.
All right, and taking a look at our other top stories this morning, Iran's supreme leader saying attacks against oil assets throughout the Gulf will continue, including closing the Strait of Hormuz as leverage against the United States. The statement was read by a news anchor on state TV. According to Israeli reports, the Ayatollah was wounded in the opening attack on Iran and remains hospitalized.
As the war with Iran centers around the Middle East, the FBI is warning about the threat of potential Iranian drone strikes here in California. Officials say no specific or credible threats have been identified, but they are staying alert.
And just as the heat wave arrives, people are being warned to stay away from several beaches in LA County due to high bacterial levels. The affected beaches are near the Santa Monica Pier, Mother's Beach in Marina del Rey, and Leo Carrillo State Beach in Malibu.
All right, so that's unfortunate news because I know a lot of people are trying to get to some relief, right? With the heat, especially inland, that water will feel good, but you just have to avoid those beaches. It doesn't feel like winter right now for us, and it is still officially winter on the calendar. Spring doesn't officially arrive for us here in the Northern Hemisphere until March 20. So we've got 8 days left of winter, 5 days until we get to celebrate St. Patrick's Day next week, Tuesday, and then 24 days until Easter. High pressures to blame, or to credit if you really like the heat. This is what's going to dominate our weather. It'll weaken a little bit on Saturday and Sunday, but it's still going to be dry, hot and breezy at times. High pressure will get reinforced as we get to early next week, and then the latter part of next week, this big dome of high pressure is really going to strengthen, and it is going to produce even hotter temperatures than what we're expecting over the next couple of days. And it is going to be quite hot the next couple of days, potentially a record-breaking high temperature. So we want to give you this reminder here, heat wave checklist with hydrating. It's really important to be drinking a lot of water, especially if you have to work under these weather conditions. Take numerous breaks if you do. Wear the proper attire before you head out. Make sure it's loose, lightweight clothing. Bring a hat. And if you can, please try to get into some air conditioning, especially if you live around the coast and you don't have AC. You want to get to your friends maybe who has air conditioning, or just spend the better part of the day at the mall or at the cool library, even a movie theater. Temperatures today, look at this, ranging from 95 in Woodland Hills, 93 downtown LA, 95 in Corona, even Big Bear, close to 70 degrees. 95 in Palm Springs. Snow Valley Snow Ski Resort will be officially closing a week early this Sunday. So if you still want to get some snow fun in, there's still some snow up there, and we'll get some sunshine too mixed with that. So it'll be like t-shirt skiing weather this weekend. I'll show you the 7-day forecast in just a couple minutes. Back to you.
Happening today, firefighters and community groups are pushing for a new initiative to protect Long Beach services from federal cuts. It's called Block the Cuts and Build Long Beach campaign. The ballot measure would fund fire protection and infrastructure upgrades without taxing most residents. It includes strict overnight and targets major industries for oversight and targets major industries for contributions. The measure would lower the cost of housing through new and innovative approaches, including including pathways to low-cost home ownership. It would also prevent people from falling into homelessness by acquiring at-risk buildings and keeping them permanently affordable.
California cracking down on misleading sunscreen labels. Lawmakers just advanced a bill to ban terms like reef safe on sunscreens containing chemicals harmful to marine life. These chemicals can damage coral reefs, which support 25% of ocean species. Co-authors of the bill say that protecting reefs is vital for biodiversity and California's $51 billion coastal tourism industry. Experts recommend mineral sunscreens or UV protective clothing as safe alternatives. The bill aims to give consumers clear, eco-friendly choices.
Lyft will now guarantee rides with service animals following the settlement of a lawsuit. It stems from a complaint filed by a blind college student in Minnesota. She said several Lyft drivers refused to allow her service dog to accompany her during rides. A state investigation concluded that Lyft was in violation of Minnesota's Human Rights Act. Negotiations between both parties led to a settlement that mandates various changes within the company nationwide, including driver training and updates to the Lyft application.
Punch the monkey stole hearts around the world after his Tokyo Zoo released pictures of him with his stuffed orangutan that he used for comfort. This was quite the story, right? His mother sadly rejected him at birth, and the zookeeper's hand raised him. And when it finally came time to integrate him into the troop, some of the monkeys attacked him. Finally, he made some friends, and some of the senior members could be seen grooming and cuddling him. However, it seems some of the older monkeys actually stepped up the attacks against Punch. The public noticed it and called the zoo out on social media.
That's right, we did.
So now the zoo says it has removed the troublemakers temporarily and will continue to monitor the situation.
I'm glad that they heard our voices.
Do not pick on Punch.
That's right.
Do not pick on.
Or we'll punch back.
The zookeeper would even take him to the back.
Yeah.
With his
Get him
stuffy
away.
to get him away.
Oh, so sad.
Aww, he's growing.
I love
so fast.
Punch so much.
Look at that. Aww.
Oh,
I just want to rub his belly.
Me too. The line to see Punch is hours long at the zoo.
Of course.
Great for Japanese tourism.
Yeah.
Ichikawa Zoo. All right, get ready for another round of Bag Mania at Trader Joe's. The blue and red bag canvas tote bag is getting company. The grocery chain says it is introducing a new large canvas bag with lavender handles and a pink logo.
I want it.
Perfect time for Easter, right?
I like the lavender.
Trader Joe's says it is also bringing back its line of mini totes in spring colors. A company representative would not give a specific date for the new launches, just saying it'll be mid-March.
Well, that's Sunday.
That's right. You better go to your Trader Joe's.
Several Morehouse College students from LA are returning home to speak at assemblies at Jordan and Crenshaw high schools.
Coco is live in Crenshaw with more on how organizers hope this inspires the next generation. Hi there, Coco.
Hey there, we're here at Crenshaw High School. We've been highlighting this amazing event called Morehouse Takes LA. I am here with some incredible alumni, also representatives from LAUSD, of course, too. So, James, I want to start with you. As an alumni, what does this mean to you to be here?
It's all about representation. Like, coming from the south side of Chicago, and I really connect with, like, Morehouse Take LA coming to Crenshaw High School, because there is no HBCUs on the West Coast. And once they see us coming out here, they learn more about Morehouse, the great mystique there is. And, you know, it's all about representation. So that's what I really love about this. So whenever we could give back, show up to the schools, let the kids know what they can do and what they can achieve, it's always a great time. So I'm so proud of Morehouse Take LA right now.
Absolutely. You have a lot to be proud about. And Darius, you're also an alumni at Crenshaw High School. So what does this mean to you?
Let's make this note that the Morehouse Takes LA initiative is a student initiative. It's a student-led initiative, so it's so very important. As a son of LA, a son of Crenshaw, graduate of Morehouse College, when I graduated from Crenshaw High School, we did not have opportunities like this. You know, fortunately, I came from a two-parent home, and I come from a legacy of Morehouse men, so that was my direct connection to Morehouse College. But I am never, ever able to forget that young men in this area do not have the exposure that I was fortunate enough to have, and I think the Morehouse LA program is a great way to get to Morehouse.
Fantastic. And Eric, same question for you. What it means to you?
It means a lot to me. I'm actually from the Midwest, but I didn't see a lot of Morehouse people who came to where I was. And it's great to see these people come to LA and represent for the school, to show people what's available, what's possible, to show them their opportunities, because a lot of people need to understand either Morehouse or just the greater HBCU culture and what it produces, what type of men it produces, what type of women it produces. So we're great and happy to be here. We're happy to be here.
I can tell everyone's happy to be here. And I got to talk to Jude as well. He's a senior, LAUSD. So what does it mean to you to be part of this?
It means everything, you know, come from my neighborhood, you know, not that many kids get the experience like this. So just, you have to take it all in, you know, just be grateful for everything you get, everything you have as well. And it means a lot because, you know, not that many kids out here get to go to out of state when they want to. So to be selected about this or selected for this, it just means a whole lot.
Yes, well, we're so proud of you, Jude. Excited for your future. And Travis, you really set this whole thing up. Why is it so important to have this for LAUSD?
Well, kids can't be what they don't see. So we want to make sure that we're exposing our kids to all opportunities. And what's most important is so many of these young men from Morehouse, are from LA and went to LAUSD school. So we really want to push that, like, you can be from South LA, West LA, or anywhere within the city. If you're in our district, we're preparing you to be a Morehouse man.
I love that, preparing them to be Morehouse men, and Morehouse men are incredible, as you can see as well. So definitely a great event. We've got the Maroon Tiger here as well, representing. What a wonderful day for Crenshaw High School. We'll send it back to you.
Love the mascot. I love the story too, Coco.
So much energy.
Yeah, great day for them. All right, thank you.
Love it. Hi, ladies.
Hi. All right, jumping on into entertainment. Good Day LA Entertainment, sponsored by Yamava Resort and Casino. All right, we're going to talk about Rachel Zegler. You know, she can be polarizing within the industry, and you're either like a super fan of her, or, you know, you're part of the people that are giving her some backlash online. And she's now opening up about all of that. She is actually not holding back when it comes to her latest March interview with Harper's Bazaar UK. She talks about the criticism that she's faced getting the role of Maria in West Side Story, and also Snow White in that live action remake we had a couple years ago. As you know from West Side Story, Maria is a young Puerto Rican woman in New York City who falls in love with Tony, who is not Puerto Rican, and they have this 1950s Romeo and Juliet, New York City love story. Well, she actually received some cultural backlash when getting cast in that lead role. She was told that she wasn't enough of one thing for West Side Story and then too much of another for Snow White. You know, we saw her recently in the role of Snow White. She prides herself on her Colombian background. She says that she was either too much of something or not enough of something. She basically felt like she couldn't win either way she goes. She also shared that she grew up proud of being Colombian, eating the food, wearing the dresses, drinking the coffee, doing all the things that were so intrinsic to who I was as a kid and who I am as an adult. She says also that you live and learn, and there's caution that comes with that. There's an understanding that the temptation to speak doesn't always mean that it must be done, and that there are a lot of opportunities to make more meaningful change than a tweet. If I'd been able to predict everything that would come my way, the threats to my safety, I would have just thrown my phone into the ocean. I think any sane person would have. So this film, Snow White in particular, got a lot of backlash because, one, people thought maybe it didn't need to be remade. Two, I think people weren't a fan of the CGI dwarfs, the 7 dwarfs in the film. And three, I don't think they thought she was the best choice for this role, and it was kind of going against the traditional tale of Snow White, where she had said, like, why do I need a prince? Yeah, she's a powerful woman in and of herself.
Like the message changed.
Right. I want to go back to the cultural backlash, because this is something that I think is common. Basically saying when you're half of one thing and half of another, it feels like you're nothing. Because the acceptance from either side isn't
You're not
there.
enough.
You're not enough.
Yeah.
So, you know, I can only speak for myself. I have felt sometimes that my Italian side feels like I don't claim them enough. But I like to claim my Hispanic side because my name and I feel like a lot of my roots
are in that. And so I sometimes feel the tug of war culturally as well. But I think you can be both. You can have both, and you're not picking favorites. I've been pretty open about both sides. But I felt that connection with her where, you know, if you are even half Hispanic, you are Hispanic.
Yeah. You feel that way. It's about the community. It's about whether you're embraced by either side. And oftentimes you're not enough for either side, which is really a shame, because even if you're like a quarter or like 5% or whatever, people should like the fact you celebrate that culture rather than saying, well, why, you know, you're not enough to celebrate. What does that even mean?
Right, and you identify enough, right? It also is true for immigrants who come here or for people who have been here for generations. You feel far more removed from your initial culture. Like if you're fourth generation Japanese, you feel more Americanized than you are Japanese ethnic. So there's a lot of nuance when it comes to cultural identity, your personal identity, and what the community thinks of you as well. But like you said, you should just be celebrating both sides, any side of whoever you are, right?
Exactly. And they both have more in common than different than people think. We actually all, as a community, have a lot more in common than we think.
Yeah, we enjoy good food and
family.
Partying.
And partying.
And family.
Exactly.
All right, we'll be right back.